Enjoy yourself. Hey, everybody. I'm excited. I'm so very excited. A little nervous, though. A little bit nervous because I think I'm missing something. I'm definitely missing something. I definitely have to say thank you for joining us. Now, I got to give you guys a heads up. I am on the search for my brain. It's missing. It's ran away, and I hope by the time that we do this live stream, because I've got a very, very special guest with me. This goes all the way back to my very beginning on YouTube. This is where it all started for me. The man that opened the door to my very first live, the man that helped me become comfortable with doing lives. Oh, I'll never forget those days. But man, if I can't find my brain, I know I'm forgetting something. I know it. And we're about ready to go live. We're right there on the doorstep. What am I? Meg. Oh, Meg, you think I forgot about you? Happy birthday to you. Oh my God, I'm scaring everybody away. Happy birthday to you. Yep, we got to stop right there. Happy birthday, dear Meg. Happy birthday to you. You're very special. You're a member of this community. We all love and adore you. We all send you happy birthday wishes. Now, everybody, I got to get on track because we're about ready to go live. We've got a very special guest. Very, very special guest. I'm honored to have him. I'm excited, but if I can't find my brain, I don't know. I don't know if I can even discuss the two very important cases. Alan Greenberg. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the determination of manner of death has been changed. It's no longer considered a homicide again. It's now back that she took her own life. And of course, we're going to dive into the Idaho 4. We're going to discuss the Innocence Project, how early it got involved with the Brian Kohberger case, and what literally happened. It's an amazing conversation. I can't wait to have it. I can't wait to see all of you. But again, I got to say, ladies and gentlemen, I got to run. I got to go find my brain. If you know where it is, well, hell, you can't reach me anyway. But hang out and chat. We'll be with you very, very soon. Well, my good friend Dago, how are you?
I feel like I'm some kind of important somebody now after that intro. Damn, bro.
Well, you are. You're
that
damn
was badass.
right.
I love it. Awesome.
And the community, my friend.
Appreciate it. That was great.
Well, I appreciate it. For those that do not know, this is my good friend, a fellow content creator and many of you may not know the story, but this man right here opened the door to me doing my very first ever live. And I was so nervous. Do you remember that?
I do. I do.
I believe it was Nellie B that was with us, was it not?
Yeah. Somebody said there was an echo. I don't know if we can fix that or
Yeah,
not.
I'm working on my side here. If
I
people
just
can
checked
let me
mine.
know.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it was Nelly. It was you, me and Nelly, and you jumped in, and yes, absolutely.
That's right. And it was that doorstep that you opened that I was able to step through that gave me the confidence to actually jump up here and at first almost pretend to be a content creator, more of a prison mind trying to be a content creator. And then I was able to work my way into doing a little bit better work, a little bit more. And, it's been fun ever since. I've been able to go forward from there. And I've realized I'm having some fun here, Dago. I'm like looking at trying to find my backgrounds and trying to find, there we go. Okay, we're getting a little better now.
What are you? I'm curious. What do you use to do what you just did with that whole intro thing? What video program do you use?
So I use CapCut. I
Okay.
use CapCut. And let me tell you, it took me a little while to figure out what I was doing. The wife used to do all of my work for me,
I remember.
intros and everything. And she's truly amazing. And then
Yeah.
she just one day, she told me, I do work full time. So if you want to continue to do this, you're going to figure this out on your own. So I did. I dove in. I started experimenting, and guess what? Now I have a lot of fun with that. And then ever since I learned that, Dago, I stopped making content.
I mean, it is a lot more fun. I started writing songs, dude, and putting things out there. And if God forbid I get better with the CapCut stuff, I don't know what I'll do. But I've been thinking about going between that and one other one, and I think it's going to be CapCut because that's really awesome. I like that a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, as you and I were speaking, the cost of everything to do this
It is
now
expensive.
has truly grown, to the point sometimes I shake my head. But if we didn't have such great community, I probably would have thrown in the towel, with the health situation and the things. But this community has been so supportive and so loving that I can't give in. I can't quit. I got to stay around for as long as I possibly can. So
Amen.
I see
Amen.
we have Kathy's Indie Zone is in the house. I always love to give her a shout out.
Yes.
Dago, she's another creator that does amazing work.
I do. I follow her a lot. I put her out all the time to everybody. I want everybody to follow her that can, because I'll tell you, if it weren't for her, especially in the Idaho case, I don't think a lot of us would understand a lot of things, and she's helped with that so very much.
The great thing about her is she breaks it down to my speed.
Yes. Yes. Layman's terms, 100%. There's a couple of things I've read, and I'm going, what does that mean? You go watch her, and it's like, okay, thank you, Miss Kathy. As always, very much appreciated.
Yep. I highly recommend everybody out there that if you have not gone over to her channel, I definitely highly recommend that. She really breaks things down in a great way, and it's so helpful for me as well. And I definitely love her work, and I know we've got many others here in the house too, Dago. It's hard to really high five everybody as they come in. I just hope they know that we definitely love and respect them and definitely appreciate them.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're splitting it today, folks. Tonight we have a running duel on both sides. I want to thank my moderators for being here. I want to thank AR's moderators for being here. I want to thank everybody, all of you, because I can't name it all. There's too many people to look at right now, but I love each and every one of you guys. And we both appreciate you all so much for joining us for this tonight. Thank you to my mods for dropping Kathy's link in there as well. That's very much appreciated. And everything you guys are doing tonight, we appreciate you guys so very much on both ends.
I think it's highly important that we recognize both channels here, because these are, Dago, you work hard, man. I know you've already done a 4.5 hour, gauntlet of a live covering some very important cases. Your community is so important that I'm just happy that they're able to come over, whether they're on your side, my side. It's all the same support, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
right.
It's all the same support. But anybody that's on my side, if you would do me the favor, if you truly do actually like me and my singing skills of Happy Birthday, you got to go over to Dago's channel, the True Crime Cafe with Dago. Give him a thumbs up, give him a like, give him some love. And I definitely big shout out to all of your moderators as well as mine that are here in the house.
Yes. And everybody
I
on
mean,
my
these
side of the fence, guys, please, if you have not yet done it, which I know a lot of you have, please make sure you jump on over to AR's channel, hit the like button, share it out, make sure you hit the notification bell. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing with your life? Come on, folks, let's do this and make it right.
and I'm hoping, Dago, that you and we can kind of high five and do more work together on a more
Yes.
consistent basis, to where we can at least get one or two in here every once in a while.
Yes.
The mind that you bring to the table always just brings out the best in me. And I think the conversations really kind of spark an energy within me that when you and I are done, I can run off and do some content because you've sparked some of that thought process, within me. And the crazy thing is, tonight we've got two cases. I think these are two very important cases that show the lack of investigative skills that happen within, man, it's just happening too much now. It's happening too much now. We got Ellen Greenberg stabbed over 20 times, 20 times. And they claim that she did it to herself. And then, of course, we got the Brian Kohberger, where we're going to be discussing some of the Innocence Project. And we're going to hit on some key facts with this case. And we're always open to comments within the chat. Just keep it respectful. Because that's what we offer to you guys. We keep it respectful, so we ask that you guys do as well. We don't bash, we don't knock anybody, we don't talk disrespectfully about any other channels, any other creators.
No.
And we'd appreciate as everybody that joins us, just give us the same respect, because we're giving your loved creators respect as well.
And please, if you've ever been in my channel, which I know you have, of course, the only thing I ask over there, as I'm sure AR has done the same, is just to respect each other most and foremost, please. Everybody's going to have different feelings, thoughts, and theories on different things. That's okay, folks. That's what makes the world go round. So please don't disrespect each other. Just respect each other's feelings. That's all.
Mama Bear, I might cut you some slack. I just might do it because I understand that at times you got to let loose a little bit. And for the most part, we got one of the greatest communities that are always respectful, and I'm appreciative of that because, look, it's opinions, guys. What we discuss here is our thoughts, it's our opinions, it's feelings that we have within us. We all have different backgrounds. We all come from different places. Mine is a little different of a spectrum than many because I come out of the penitentiary system. I've walked the line through these very types of situations, through the investigations, through the court processes, but I'm not a lawyer, and I can't bring certain types of things to the table, and I can't bring what Dago brings to the table. And that's why it's always awesome to have you here, Dago, because I truly appreciate many things that you say, even if we do differ in opinion at times.
Of course. And I appreciate that. I always enjoy your insight, your feelings, and your thoughts on things as we talk. We have the most amazing discussions. I don't bring a lot to the table. I've tried. I do a lot of research and a lot of reading, and I've read up on a lot of what I talk about. I'm a retired first responder, firefighter, medic, things like that. So I do see things from that aspect. Yes. But most of it is, and I'm very lucky to have my spouse, the amazing woman she is, has a psychology background, which helps me in a lot of ways. So having that, the first responder background and the research and stuff that I do gives me a little bit of a step above some things, but not much. And I listen to you and I listen to Kathy and I listen to quite a few other creators that help me along in my way. And I respect all that and everybody. That's why I respect everybody's feelings and opinions on this. But I've learned a lot from you too, bro, just so you know. I truly have. And I respect the fact that you have the background you have. And it has helped, I think, a lot of us creators to take a step up and a step back and look at it and go, that's interesting to know, considering what he's been through and seen and heard, to see his side of things with this. And it means a lot. It truly does. So thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. That's one thing I've had to learn a lot, obviously, from my past.
Mm,
And, that's the thing that, I may not have a lot to offer intelligence wise, but I do my best to bring through experience and through the things I've been through. And looking at both of these cases, and that's why I think these are just such a great way for you and I to get together to
yeah,
discuss. If
yeah.
we're going to talk about the lack of integrity in an investigation, both of these cases jump to mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sickening that it's these types of cases that we have to really focus in on. But that's the key is we have to focus where it needs to be focused, and both of these
Yes,
are that.
absolutely.
And I want to bring up just kind of a picture here real quick, if I can get it to actually show my screen, which it's not doing yet, but I promise I'm going to figure this out. But when it comes to the Ellen Greenberg case,
Mm-hmm.
where the hell did that picture just go? There you go. I just had a great picture and I'm frustrated because it disappeared on me. But
Happens to
this
me all
is
the time.
seriously what we're talking about in this investigation.
Yes.
Somehow they claim that this could be self-inflicted.
Yeah, I always thought when we covered the autopsy on this, I had to stop probably 5 or 6 times and laugh at the ignorance that law enforcement threw at people and thought, I mean, you don't have to have very much common sense to be able to figure out there's no way this is even remotely possible, you guys, okay? I don't care if you're Mary Lou Retton. I don't care if you're Pretzel Man. I don't care what you are. To be able to do this is absolute impossibility. I'm sorry, and it still blows my mind that they expect people to look at this and say, "Yep, she did it to herself. She did." Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That
And
I love that you pulled that picture up too, because that's the same one I used. It's hilarious.
yeah, I think it's important. So let me kind of preface this with this life experience for me, Dago. I was a cutter in life from a very young age. Um, Through my upbringing, I went through some emotional chaos, up and down roller coaster of being adopted through foster care into a good home, but adopted by a family that were like citizens of the year of the city, and I was the troublemaker of the city. So it
Sure.
was chaotic, and I became depressed. I became emotional roller coaster, and I became a cutter. And when you become a cutter, it's a fine line between just self harm and actual taking of your own life.
Right.
Now, I don't know Ellen Greenberg. I don't know her. I never met her. I never had a conversation with this young lady. But I can tell you, if I were to take this picture down and I bring one up like this, that's a beautiful smile.
Absolutely.
That is one heck of a beautiful young lady with an amazing smile. Now, she's out, she's about, she's doing her thing. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have an inner demon within her or an inner, type of whatever it might be that could create an emotional chaos. But I can tell you this, coming from my background as a cutter, I never cut the back of my neck. I
Well,
never got a blade into my back. I wasn't able to do it 20 times
and I'm
at
sure you
depths.
right, and I'm sure you weren't able to at an angle shove one into the base of your spine and your brain either, possibly, you know what I mean, at that specific angle. I'm pretty sure you never did that either, or never even thought of doing that, that's the one
No,
that gets me. That's the one that gets me, AR, because if you look at that photograph, there's probably 2 of those that there's no way possible that any other person other than somebody standing behind you could have done that, period. There's no 2 ways about it.
yeah,
So
when I first started into this case, and I'm late to the game compared to everybody else, Dago, but when I
Understood.
first started into this case, one thing that hit me was the fact, that I've been through the emotional chaos of, I had a brother that took his own life, and I've been very close a couple of times. It's nothing you ever want to admit, but it's something I'm okay talking about now because Jen found me the help that I needed and got me out of that situation.
There you go.
It's unfortunate if this young lady didn't get out of that situation. It's very unfortunate. But looking at this picture, it just hits home to me. This is not possible when you talk about taking of your own life.
No.
One person's pain threshold. Look, remember, I was a cutter. I cut deep a couple of times. Could never do this.
Well, no,
Never do this.
let me ask you a quick question on this. We're looking at the front view. We're looking at the rear view. Now, I'm just going to make a quick statement here. Both front and rear look like they're both fatalities. There's fatal wounds on both the front and the back, in my opinion. Okay, so explain to me which one happened first, and then how you did this after you were already passed.
And see that's just where I'm so lost in my mind is, even as a cutter, when you hit something substantial, you're done. When you're done.
That's it. That's what I mean.
If you hit a nerve, if you hit a tendon, if you hit something, look, I've hit tendons, I've hit nerves, I've hit veins, I've never done.
I'm going to tell you right now, the ones in the back, okay, if that was done first, there's no way anything happened in the front if she did it to herself, because at some point, the one blade, the one injury severed something in there, okay? She's done. That's it. And the ones in the front, I'm pretty sure that there's some really important stuff here that'll cause you to bleed out, okay? Again, she was done. So there's no way that these happen simultaneously. There's no way. Or one or the other. It didn't happen that way. This was done by somebody else, AR. I'll bet everything I own. And that's the other thing. Meg just made a good point. So if she'd have done in the back first, she'd have paralyzed herself to some point where she couldn't have done the front at all. There's too many things in here that point to the fact that it couldn't have happened. That's all there is to it. Absolutely.
I mean,
that's all there is to it.
You got to think to yourself too, Dago, to get. I mean, the front's hard enough as it is. You got a really awkward way of holding it to get the blade into your chest like that. And I'm telling you, the lowest blade that you're seeing is going to be the most painful.
Exactly.
I don't know if anybody see. I'm covered in tattoos, and the one that I almost tapped out on, Dago, almost, was the center of my chest to my belly button.
Yeah, that's a lot of pain right there. I agree.
I mean, the rib cages suck too, and the neck sucks too.
The neck sucks, and so do the hands and all that fun stuff. But that down there, you're right. That's very skin is very sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, I literally, if you're telling me you could stab yourself there and then proceed to be able to hold the knife backwards behind you, the only way you could do that is to leverage it against something and have whatever you're leveraging it against hold it for you as you bang your head backwards. But you wouldn't get that structure of penetration through the weapon. Right.
And we have what, seven stab wounds in the front, correct? If I remember, it's been a while since I've touched on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like there. I'm going to promise you that after the first one, she stopped. Anybody would stop, okay? Because the pain is excruciating, period. They're pretty long knives. I'm not saying that's what they were, but based on what I read, kitchen knives, things like that, I mean, it is a decent blade, okay? So after the first one, she would have stopped, in my opinion, because of the pain. To let alone to go 6 more times in the front, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the back, roughly. No, not remotely possible. I'm sorry. I'm gonna guess 7-inch blades, roughly. Okay, I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure that the one in the main one in the front was fairly deep. Which goes back to the 911 call that we'll get into in a little bit, I'm sure, which is a joke to me, complete, absolute joke. But yeah, there's just no two ways about it, folks. It's not possible. It's just not. The angle, like AR said, some of the angle in the front you can't do based on the length of the knife, but almost none of the stuff in the back can you do to yourself at all. It's just
So clue
impossible.
me into this, just to make sure I fully understand and everybody in the chat that maybe doesn't know about the case. Was this considered a single weapon crime?
Yes. Yeah. From my understanding, it was listed as one. There was a knife that when he found her, if I remember correctly, because like I said, it's been a while, that there was a knife that was still in her chest when he was calling 911, and he acted like he couldn't see it, all that kind of stuff. He didn't understand it. So that's the guess that I took from it, was that it was just one weapon being used throughout the whole thing.
And how was that weapon found? Was it found near her, away from her?
It was in her.
Still in her.
It was still in her, and it was in the region of where the heart would be, roughly. If I remember the autopsy, it's been, like I said, guys, excuse me, it's been a while, and I didn't get a chance to read up on everything. I figured we were going to do that tonight, but it was in that vicinity, and he acted as though he didn't see it. That's how it sounds on the 911 call, which blows my mind because it's right there, big as life, sticking out of her chest. So, yeah, and that was the final right there was where it was left resting in her chest.
So you're telling me someone's capable starting front to back to neck to the back of the head, back to the chest where it's final. No.
And that's what I said.
I'm dumb. I'm dumb, but I'm not dumb.
Right. My synopsis on it, if I remember how I explained it to my community then, I believe that it started behind her, that somebody came behind her, did all this, and as she spun around, possibly to try to defend herself, then they went forward with the front and took her down. And that's just how I imagine it happening.
I just
Ellen Greenberg, Dorothy.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up here for everybody. Let's see if I can get this to where it's
go ahead. If you don't mind, AR, I'm going to step away real fast and grab another cup of coffee.
No, that's fine. Right back. So everybody, just so everybody knows, I've been seeing everybody that now uses Chat GPT or whatever this is called. So I figured, since I have no idea what it is, why not figure it out myself? So I Chat GPT'd. I wanted Ellen Greenberg crime scene information. And I find this to be pretty helpful for someone like myself or anybody else that maybe doesn't know a lot about this case. And again, I want to say hello to everybody. Beach Babe, SRB, thank you for being with us. Seahawks fan, great to see you. Meg P, the birthday girl, Ronnie Sutton, my man, and Cheryl Burkese are in the house. Always happy to see you guys. And whoever else I haven't got to, I'm sure we'll take time to get to you guys. So this happened all the way back in 2011, ladies and gentlemen. That's how long this case has been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Literally, the family for Ellen has been fighting the entire time, saying there's just no way that she took her own life. This is 100% got to be something more than that. So they've literally gone back and forth on whether this was a homicide or whether this was a self-inflicted, taking of their own life. And it's still today, ladies and gentlemen, just here recently, they switched it all again. They went back with the taking of their own life business. And let me tell you, this is why I say that I feel as though this investigation is lacking, and I feel as though there's a lot of issues with this, is I think that they couldn't figure it out, so they just went with the easiest route, meaning they couldn't figure out who the perp was. They could not figure out why. Man, it sounds almost like an Idaho case that I know. They couldn't figure out motive. They couldn't figure stuff out. So the easiest way to go on with this is just to claim she took her own life. It's a young lady found in the kitchen with knife wounds, with a knife in her. What's easier than to just say, we did it to our own self? Oh, okay. I'll definitely have to check that out, Stuart Jones. I've never heard of Gavin Fish, but definitely would like to see that. I know that the family, the Greenberg family, is definitely really pushing. They want more answers. I mean, their daughter Ellen was found dead on January 26th of 2011 in her apartment in her neighborhood of Philadelphia. So it is back east. It's Philadelphia. They state that she sustained 20 stab wounds, including wounds to her back, neck, and other parts of her body. Hey, Sherry Irvin, it's great to see you as well. On top of the stab wounds, they state that she had at least 11 bruises in various stages of healing on her right arm, abdomen, and right leg. And coming from a background as a cutter, it makes sense that there would be some bruising, but the problem with that I have coming, from I have massive scarring. It wasn't just bruising that you would find that it was healing and this and that. I have literally cut scars. They're never going to go away. It's something I have to live with the rest of my life. I think the last time, the doctors checked me, I had a little over 1,000 scars through my chest and my abdomen and my stomach region, and I had hundreds up and down, my arms and my legs. So never would someone come and say, well, we found 11 bruises on this individual that were in various stages of healing. That's more like self-abuse, like you punch yourself, but that I don't believe that would take your life. And, if you were trying to take your life in a way that would leave bruising, that would be more like a hanging or something where you would see the remnants of that blood clotting. It's been heavily debated on the manner of death. The medical examiner ruled it was a homicide, but then after a closed door meeting with the police, that ruling was changed to suicide. So imagine that. Initially, they come out and they clearly state it's a homicide until they got to go behind closed doors and law enforcement decides to have a closed door meeting with them. And that's when the ruling changed to suicide. What in that closed door meeting could law enforcement have provided to a medical examiner that examined the body? Think about that. There you go. I'm glad to see you're back. So I want to get your opinion on this.
Sorry,
as you probably know. So the medical examiner, Dago, initially ruled it a homicide. Clear as day, it's a homicide. This is what it is. Then they get called into a closed door meeting with law enforcement, and that's when it all changes. What could law enforcement possibly know that a medical examiner that examines the very body, that determines how this happens, what could they have said in there that changed that?
In my opinion, or okay. In my opinion, they went in and said, you're going to change this because, okay, I'll be real, folks, if you don't mind. You have to change the ruling on this because this person over here is very important and we can't have anybody looking at that person in a negative way whatsoever. So it has to be all on her. And that's exactly how I think that went down. I dumbed it down, but that's truly what I think happened.
Why don't you lay the foundation a little bit, since you're going to be much better at that for us, in regards to who surrounding this young lady, Ellen, would be considered a suspect, like you said, that would be important enough that we got to direct our attention a different direction?
Her fiance himself, is the only person that I've looked at in a negative way from day one. I don't have the information in front of me right now. His name is very well known. Okay, he worked with, at that time, I can't remember who it was, but he worked with a very a network, TV network. In his family, they have money. I'll just put it that way. They're very well off. They have money. Last name is Goldberg. I can't remember his first name though. Thank you, Tomboy. But yeah, they're in itself, folks. That last name, that'll tell you a lot. Look up the last name Goldberg and it'll take you everywhere you need to go. Very important family, okay, with money. There he is right there. And I can't remember the network he worked for, folks, at that time, but he was important enough for them to shut this down and go the complete other direction. Because I'm going to tell you, okay, and everybody knows this already, I'm sure. If AR or I, if this happened to us, either one of us, okay, had done this, been in the same situation, both of us immediately would have been detained, arrested, and would have been still sitting there to this day if we were involved in a situation like this, because we're nobodies compared to this guy, okay? And that is exactly why this happened the way it did, in my opinion. And I was super excited. I'll say this too for Ellen's parents, because I thought they were finally going to get some justice, because this had been reopened. They started looking at it, and I'm thinking it's about time. Exactly, would be dust, Miss Charlene. You are right. And it came right back to a head, right back where we're at, where we started from. So it's unbelievable.
You know, I could tell how this guy must have some importance to him, Dago, because even when you Google her boyfriend in the case, it won't mention his name.
Nope.
Isn't that great? Like, I'm looking right now at pictures. I just wanted to see if his name would pop up. I know if you Google deep enough, it would.
Everything on the surface was scrubbed, AR. Every bit of it was scrubbed on purpose. We know that. And it was done very quickly. And
his name was Goldman, you said?
Goldberg. Yeah, Goldberg.
Goldberg.
I think it was Goldberg. Yeah. Wait, Goldman or Goldberg? It was Goldberg, I believe. Sorry. It's been, like I said, 3 years since I've touched this, you guys. So my apologies. And I was just getting ready to do this too. So.
And you're always able, you know, if you want to share screen too, let me know so that you know, we can do stuff on your side as well, because you may be a little bit better than me at doing that. But
absolutely, welcome everybody. Good to see you guys that are just jumping in. I appreciate it very much. Real quick, sorry, AR. If you guys would please make sure to hit the like button on AR's side as well as mine, if you will. Share this out. Let everybody know what we're doing. And we both appreciate you all so very much for joining us tonight for a great discussion, I hope. And I hope you'll see it that way as well, for sure. And yes, money talks. And that's what this is all about, is money, folks. Money, money, money. I'm going to dig.
So here is little info on him. His name, I guess he's the fiance. That he's actually the one that found her.
Yes.
In her apartment. Sam Goldberg. I mean, the back and forth on this is just ridiculous. You either know or you don't know. I mean, I hate to tell you that in a situation like this, I don't think it'd be that extremely difficult to know if someone took their own life or not.
Yep.
You know, but like I was explaining to people, you know, in a situation like this, if these law enforcement investigative gurus, I like to call them now. I call them gurus. I think it's kind of I'm making a little bit of fun of them, poking the bear. But if they can't come up with a motive and they can't come up with a story or a narrative that fits the bill, especially against a guy like this that most likely has some power to him, they're going to create something like a taking of her life to make it seem, you know, more reasonable or close it.
One of the issues that I had with this, I have something I will pull up if you don't mind here in a second, is that when Sam found her, okay, one of the first things he did was he called his uncle and then his cousin, and then he called 911. Now, if you tell me that that's not shady, I'm sorry, you're wrong. If I walked in on a loved one in this situation and seen this, the way he explained it on the 911 call, That's all I would think to do is call 911 immediately as I'm trying to help that person. But he had the time to stop and thinking and call his uncle and his cousin, and then he dialed 911. I think he dialed 911 because he was told to. Okay. This is my opinion, but that's crazy. Okay. So, you know, out of 20 stab wounds, folks, 20 stab wounds, you called your uncle and your cousin and then dialed 911. I have an issue with that, a big issue with that. I have an interview, if you don't mind, AR, with one of the EMTs that came to the scene that talks a little bit about, there's a little bit of here mixed in, it's through News Nation, that talks a little bit about being on scene with this situation and the thoughts and feelings that he had when he walked in on this.
I mean, this goes a second. So this is another case where an individual calls others prior to 911, kind of like another case that we're talking about, the Idaho 4, with people that were right there where, you know, the homicides happened, and they decide it's more important to call others before they actually get help for anybody. So this guy supposedly loves this girl so much, lives with her, ready to marry her, prominent life, yet doesn't feel as though it's important to call when he finds her with 20 stab wounds. That doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever, in my opinion. I agree with you.
And why did they all seem to say they were leaving for the gym?
That's another good point. Well, the gym was in the building here with this one, but I think that's very convenient. I'm going to go to the gym, and then this happens. So I believe it's all part of it, in my opinion. So,
I mean, she either stabbed herself or she fell on the knife. She literally fell on the knife 20 times in all different angles, in different places.
The knives were standing straight up when she fell on them, and they didn't move at all. Remember that. And then she spun around and did it in the front too. Right.
Was she on a trampoline doing a dive? Like, hey, I'm going to dive onto these.
That's what I mean. She this backwards on all this knife 20 times and then said, all right, this is boring. I'm going to turn around and do it in the front now. Like, come on. This is so ridiculous. And that's how they expect us to believe these things. It's crazy. All right, guys, let me know if you hear everything okay. If there's any issues, I will fix it. If not, check it out, though.
Ashley, we were able to obtain the surveillance video from the apartment complex where Ellen Greenberg's body was discovered by her fiance, Sam Goldberg. And in the surveillance video, you can see Sam Goldberg going into the elevator after working out, when he says he went up, and that's when he discovered Ellen's body. And what's interesting in the surveillance video is you can clearly see that Sam Goldberg is wearing shorts. Which is also what the security guard in the lobby said to police, and also told us when we interviewed him, that he very clearly remembers Sam Goldberg wearing shorts, which you can see in the video. But what's interesting is we have now interviewed the firefighter EMT, who was one of the first on the scene. And he says that he very distinctly remembers Sam Goldberg wearing sweatpants. He remembers it now, he says, clear as day, and he also is quoted in a police report back in 2011, saying Sam Goldberg was wearing sweatpants, not shorts, which is what we see in the surveillance video. Listen to what the EMT told us.
What was he wearing? Do you remember?
I seem to think he was wearing like sweatpants and some kind of a t-shirt. You know, as though he may have been exercising, you know. But, you know, if you're off, or maybe it's just loungewear for you, but...
Well, and your report from the time said that it was sweatpants.
Right.
Which is interesting because there was another witness who said he was definitely wearing shorts.
Okay.
So I don't know if he may have changed.
Didn't see that happen in front of me. And I don't remember the first responder company lieutenant ever saying that they saw him change.
But if you wrote down sweatpants at the time and you still remember sweatpants,
right?
I mean, are you pretty confident it wasn't shorts?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now, another piece of this, you guys, if you don't know this, it's interesting, is that Sam had issues getting into the apartment, according to what he explained, okay? That he had to get a maintenance worker to help him and so on and so forth and all these other things. So keep this in mind. All these little pieces and parts fit into this puzzle, or do they? Okay? So we saw a video of Sam in shorts. The paramedic remembers him wearing sweatpants, and he's put it in the report as well. I saw that. And there was a period of time where he couldn't get into the apartment, he claimed, and so on and so forth. So all these things fit into this mix. Just wanted to give you a little heads up on that.
No, I would document everything we found. The thing that you never know is you don't know that from when he found her, quote unquote, found her, did he go in and do anything to the crime scene? We don't know. You know, fingerprints on the door handle. If you watch and you follow what the police do as far as detectives, they look for all of that stuff.
But they didn't do that in this case. You know?
I don't know. I wasn't part of that.
So just another interesting, sort of strange tidbit to this whole thing. You know, is it possible that Sam Goldberg changed clothes? Why is it we see him in the shorts in the video, but now we have this EMT who says he's sure that he was wearing sweatpants? We don't know. Sam Goldberg, of course, I should point out, has never been arrested, never been charged with anything, never been investigated from what we know. He's never responded to our request for comment. We know he lives in New York now as a new wife and kids. No one's really commenting besides Ellen's family and attorney and that sort of side of things. On the other side, you know, the Attorney General, Philadelphia Police Department, which is behind me, DA's office, Governor Josh Shapiro, who used to be the Attorney General. None of them are commenting really on the record at this point. There's, of course, ongoing lawsuits. So it's going to be interesting to see the way this shakes out. Supreme Court expected to review the case sometime at the beginning of next year. Ellen Greenberg's parents have pushed this all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to decide whether or not they can formally challenge the cause of death, which at this point is still technically suicide.
Thanks for watching.
Sorry, I can't handle her too much. So, yeah, and that's I have more stuff. I just had to pull it out, AR. There is that's just one little thing, folks. Just one little detail that makes you stop and go, I don't think so. Okay.
Well, I mean, first of all, like I'm not the master of the gym. They go, I fake it to make it sometimes when it's not going to the gym. You know,
Yeah.
I do fake it to make it. I don't walk back from the gym that casually. If I've worked out, I'm kind of typically either pumped up because I had a great workout, and I'm sweaty and my hair's all over the place, and or I'm, because I faked it to make it, I splash water on myself to make it look like I'm sweaty or something. But that guy came back pristine. And then to think that now you're in a different outfit. Okay, so what you didn't check on your girl when you got home? That's the first thing I do when I get home. There you go. First thing.
Same thing I do. We check on our wives, and that's that. You know what I mean?
Where's my wife? Where's everybody at? Normally the dogs let me know what's up, but that's the first thing I go. I'm not going to the shower first. I mean, if I have to use the restroom pretty bad, I'll run in and use the restroom, but I probably would have done that at the gym before I got back. But I'm not showering. I'm not changing my clothes unless I have something to hide. Now, I'd like to know, did they find those shorts?
Once again, no comment. There's nothing. Nobody has spoken out on this about anything. And I think everybody has been told you don't talk about it. I'm surprised that they got that interview with that EMT. I truly am. But
I mean, that tells me there's no investigation into this guy. Like you said, if it were you or I, and I'll just use me as an example. If it was me, I'd be in cuffs. I'd be in a holding cell. I'd be being interviewed for days before they would ever let me go home. And it wouldn't matter what I had to say. I was still the prime suspect. Even if they could clear me, I would be this prime suspect, no matter what. Especially when you get to the knife went through her chest, piercing her liver, slashed her aorta, and severed the dura mater, the membrane surrounding her spinal column.
There you go.
Dude, that's rage. That's your fiance. He's pretty pissed off at you.
I would imagine, yeah.
You don't do that to
here's the
yourself,
thing,
man.
Ellen, if anybody that doesn't know who Ellen was, she was a teacher. She was loved by everybody that she knew. She had a very close-knit family. She was a very pleasant and happy woman. There were no enemies. There was nothing negative in Ellen's life, except for one thing, in my opinion. I think we all knew who that might be. The next thing I was going to throw up, if you didn't mind, AR, was the actual 911 call, that when Sam calls 911 finally. And I want you to see and hear this, okay? And I want you to focus on this, you guys. And I want you to put yourself, if you can, this is what I ask every time we cover something like this, is put yourself there. Imagine coming in on this situation as yourself and not him in this situation, okay? As how you would react, like AR said, when we come home from anywhere, the first thing we do is we go to our spouse, get a response, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Remember that. And remember what I told you about how he had some difficulties getting in this apartment, according to what he said first. But this call, and like I said, we're very familiar with bizarre 911 calls and people that decide to call out. There's some parallels in this, AR, in my opinion, with the Idaho case, of course, that we've seen thus far. We've seen one. You call other people before you call 911. And now, in that other aspect, this call is very strange, folks. You've already seen that picture of her, the autopsy photograph we just showed you of where the stabbing wounds were and all that. Remembering that photograph and then listen to this, and it tells you a whole different story.
And after you do that, I've got a couple of points that I would like to throw on that. So we'll play that first, and I've got a couple of things that are in the back of my mind.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely throw at that.
All right. Again, this is Sam Goldberg, and this is Ellen here. This is when he supposedly comes home from the gym, or comes up from the gym, and finds his fiance in the condition that he finds her in, as you'll hear.
I just help. I need everything out. I just walked into my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please come help now.
4601
Flat Rock Road.
Is this a house or apartment?
Oh no! Oh no!
Apartment.
It's an apartment.
What apartment number?
Please hurry, please.
Where is she bleeding from?
I don't know. I can't tell.
So you have to calm yourself down in order to get you some help.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at her right now. I can't see anything. There's nothing broken. She's bleeding. Ellie.
You don't know where she's bleeding from? Can't see where the blood's coming from?
I think her head. I think she hit her head, but it's up everywhere.
I want to remind everyone, there's a knife sticking out of her chest. Remember that, folks. Okay?
It's everywhere.
She might have fallen. Do you know what happened?
She may have slipped. There's blood on the table. Her face is a little purple.
Okay, hold on for rescue for her. Stay on the phone.
Fire Department 842. What's the address? No,
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please hurry.
4601 Flat Rock?
Yes.
What's wrong?
I went downstairs to go work out. I came back up. The door was latched. My fiance's inside. She wasn't answering. So after about a half hour, I decided to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. She's not responding.
Okay, is she breathing? Look at her chest. I need you to calm down, and I need you to look at her chest. It's really.
I really don't think she is.
Listen to me. Someone's on the way. Look at her chest. Is she flat on her back?
She's on her back. So I
Okay,
bring her.
look at her chest and tell me if it's going up and down, up and down.
I don't see her moving.
Okay, do you know how to do CPR?
I don't.
Okay, I can tell you what to do, okay, until they get there. I want you to keep her foot
Oh,
on her...
God.
Hello?
Yeah.
Let me reiterate one thing. There's a knife sticking out of her chest. Anybody, okay? Anybody. Has anybody heard him say anything about this knife yet? This is insane.
Hi, okay.
Are you willing to do CPR with me over the phone until they get there?
I have to, right?
Okay, so get her flat on her back, bare her chest, okay? You want to rip her shirt off. Okay? Just kneel down by her side.
Oh, my God. Ellie, please.
Listen, you can't freak out, sir, because you
Okay, I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to. Her shirt won't come off. It's a zipper. Oh, my God. She stabbed herself.
Where?
She fell in a knife. Oh, no. Her knife's sticking out.
Her what?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't touch it.
Okay, so I just let her here now. I mean, what do I do?
No, I mean, you can't. If the knife is in her chest, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do CPR at this time.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Police, which operator?
277.
Is someone coming here?
Yes, they are. You said...
AR, can I ask you a question real quick, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you hear any kind of urgency in his tone at all? Real urgency?
This is so fake.
It's beyond fake. This is worse than the Idaho 4 call. Okay. It's like the guy's sitting on the toilet trying to get something to happen. That's what it sounds like to me. That's the only urgency that's there. Oh no, there's a knife. What? It's pathetically fake. It's beyond fake. Okay. And he's not even good at trying to do this. And the whole time, okay, based on the report that we read, the knife was sticking out of her chest the whole time, bro. And now all of a sudden, oh, she fell on a knife. They was standing straight up and she fell square in her heart. Right. Okay. What bothers me the most with this, you guys, and that's why I keep stopping this, is that it's evident. It's clearly evident, listening to the call, knowing what we know. It's beyond what it is. We know what this is, okay? And that he's lying, that it's fake, and that this is ridiculous. And they're still going with the suicide theory. It blows my mind.
4601 Flat Rock, right?
Yes.
Okay, someone's on the way. And the knife is still inside?
Wait, so what?
The knife is still inside of her?
Yes, I didn't take it out.
Was it her chest or what area?
It's in
It's in her chest. It looks like it's right in her heart.
Okay, someone's on the way out there. Okay, just get.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
How old is she?
She's 27.
27, and there's no sign of life at all. Like,
No, please don't be. What?
Pinch her under her arm and tell me if she responds to pain.
She's Ellie. She's not. Her arm and her hands are still warm. I don't know if that means, but there's blood everywhere. I mean.
I know, but you can't, and the knife is still inside of her. How far? Can you see how far it went in?
It looks pretty deep.
Okay.
It looks and it's a long knife.
Don't touch anything.
Yeah, don't touch anything. Okay.
I'm not touching anything.
Now, that's something that when I covered this before that I caught that I wanted to point out to you. It looks pretty far in, and it's a long knife. How does he know it's a long knife if it's in that far? That's all I wanted to point out real quick there.
Well, I mean, how am I?
Say again, bud.
Sounds like I got
I don't hear an echo at all.
maybe it's just me.
I don't know. But yeah, that and did you hear that when she asked if there was any kind of sign of life or anything? How he kind of about the knife,
the sweater,
he kind of snickered a little bit. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Better.
I don't know. How's it sound to you?
I echo when you have that on.
That's the same problem I've been having on my side of things. Whenever I have a guest.
I'll let you play it and I'll talk.
Okay.
Can't believe this though.
So wait, it was just you there with her?
We're the only ones here.
And she ran in the door. You said latched it shut.
No, I went downstairs to work out, and when I came back up, the door was latched.
Oh.
Like it was, it wasn't like it was, it was like locked from the inside, and I'm yelling. So I'm
Was
yelling
your house
and
broken into?
No.
So there's no sign of a break-in?
No sign of a break-in at all. I mean, there will be when you get here because I had to break the latch, but to get in.
Okay, 4601 Flat Rock, and this is a house, right?
It's an apartment. Apartment.
Okay, that'll help.
Oh my God. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
So that guy, he's his own alibi that when they get there, they're going to find that it was broken into because he had to break in to get through the latch, which tells me, look, dude, you and your girl are in the middle of a fight. You're upset. She locked you out and you broke the door down, and this is how it ended. I've been around this too much, man. Hey, look, my background is prison. These are the people I was locked up with. These are the people I was locked up with. Well, and thieves and liars and everything else. But these are the very people you bump into on the prison yard. And they've always got a good way of telling the story. I didn't notice she was stabbed when there's blood all over the kitchen. One of the wounds was 3 inches deep near the base of her skull that caused a bleeding stroke. I'm not sure if people actually understand what a bleeding stroke is. Your heart is pounding so hard from pain and the things happening in your body, it causes your heart to stroke. Almost, it's worse than a heart attack, but it's a bleeding stroke because it's pushing all the blood out of your body when you have a hole like that. It's all pouring. And he wants to claim, like all nonchalantly, I kicked in the door, I found her on the floor, I didn't know she was dying. Like, they asked you if she was breathing. How the hell would you not know? I'm baffled. I'm just baffled that an investigation is able to overlook these things. I would be serving a life sentence right now, if not have been given the death penalty.
That goes for both of us. That's fact. Anybody else but Sam Goldberg, because we don't have that money. We don't have that pool. We don't have that family. That's fact. I absolutely agree with you.
It clearly states he found her in a pool of her own blood. What was I missing during that 911 call when I didn't hear anything about blood everywhere? I didn't hear about a big knife sticking out of the chest. All I heard was he had to unzip her sweater. If there's a big knife sticking out of your chest, you're not unzipping anything. Nothing.
He didn't mention it at all until they asked him to start doing CPR. You see it. If you got into that apartment and she's laying on her back on the floor in a pool of blood, you saw it immediately sticking out. And the statement that I pointed out where he said, it was in there, AR. It was down in there pretty good, okay? And when he said, I don't know it, but it's a pretty long knife. How do you know that? How do you know how long that knife is if it's buried in her chest right now? Explain to me how you know how long it is. Unless you saw it before it went in. That's all I'm saying.
And look, I'm not the smartest man in the world, Dago, but this plays out so perfectly. I went to work out, which is why I'm probably all sweaty and tired, and I got scratches, and I had to bust down the front door because she latched it, and it took me 30 minutes to get in. It took you 30 minutes to take her life.
Thank you. Exactly. Just like the 8 hours in the Idaho case, okay? That period of time was something happened in that period of time to help with that situation for those people, in my opinion. But like I said, she probably locked him out to protect herself from him because he was violent. As you stated earlier, I heard you when I was making my coffee talking about the new and the old bruises, the bruises that were healing, okay? That says something, folks. Ellen was not a big girl, you saw Sam, how big he was compared to her. She was a very small framed woman. And there was bruises all over her, which they're all bruises healing up, which says that he was abusive towards her beforehand, in my opinion. There's no proof. They won't talk about that, but what else makes sense? She was engaged to the man. She lived with the man. She wasn't having an affair on him, because they looked into that too. That never came anywhere out anywhere. So that leaves Sam. Okay.
Let me, real quick, I want this to ring with people pretty hard. So he went to the gym. He says that he got back and he realized he locked himself out. A latch isn't locking yourself out. You would have had to way back in. So the latch is not locking yourself out. That means this young lady locked your ass out of the apartment. That's what that means.
You know the type of latch it was, by the way, too. Okay, if everybody's not, try to do a visual real quick, but I know you know these AR. You know, in motels and hotels, the latches, the slide latch that they have that you lay over and then it slides over when you lock the door.
Yeah.
That's the kind of latch that was on the door. Now, we did an experiment with somebody in my community at one point in time that proved, yes, you can unlatch that from the outside of the door. It takes a little time, but you can. But the point is that's the kind of latch it was. And the man said he broke the door down. I don't believe that the door was latched, because I don't remember seeing any or remembering any kind of damage to that door frame. Okay. And
Here's
when
kind
that
of
latch,
funny.
those latches don't, dude, I don't know if you've ever tried it, but those latches, we busted them in as firefighter, and they're almost near impossible to bust the door on those latches. They're made for that reason. Okay. So that's just one more little piece of info that I think needs to be known.
So here's a little funny thing about those latches. Years ago, 1998, when I moved out to Vegas, I was on the run. And one of the parts of my plea bargain, when I got hemmed up, they were going to extradite me back to New Mexico for my basic charges.
Right.
But they caught me breaking into hotel rooms. And I was able to get in and out of those very sophisticated latches, they call them, just unbreakable. And they're not. I actually trained and taught the MGM security, the employees, how to open those in less than 5 minutes. And they still use that technique today. So when your latch of your room is locked, they're able to get you in your room. And I was one of the ones that helped teach them how to do that. So,
there's a
but in most cases, if you're just really kind of naive to those, which I hope everybody's naive to that, you got to break those down, which means you got to literally take a part of that off of the wall to be able to get into the hole. They're typically into the studs and very difficult. But you can do it. It takes a minute, but you can do it.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest key is what he texted her while he was waiting to get in. He starts with, "Hello, open the door. What are you doing? I'm getting pissed. You better have an excuse. What the F? Ah, you have no idea." Huh. Sounds like a fight. Sounds like what the type of arguments my wife and I have had before. And she's locked me out of the house. And
sounds threatening too, though, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that, absolutely. I've used the very wordage. And when it's used that way, it's very threatening.
You have no idea.
You have no idea. That pretty much means, well, I mean, he pre-stated it. I'm getting pissed. You better have an excuse. Well, why would she have an excuse? Like, if she accidentally locked you out, dude, why would she have an excuse? Why would she need one?
Exactly.
She would just come unlock it. But why would he make the statement that he locked himself out to authorities?
You cannot lock yourself out with that
Not
type
with
of
those.
latch.
No, it's not possible.
And the only way you could do that is if you purposely did it by doing that nifty little trick to slide it over. That's the only way, and that's dumb. So no.
I mean, I've had a lot of experience with locks. Some are very easy to get in and out of. where you can actually lock yourself. I mean, obviously, a lot of people know the little turn knobs of where you twist it on the knob and you close the door behind you, you're going to lock yourself out, or any type of door where the latch will, engage after you've left. Those are all basic that you can lock yourself out. But this type of lock is a protective safety lock for
I have it.
people who.
I threw it backstage if you want to throw it up on screen real quick to show them. Yes, you're right.
I mean, people's when their lives are in danger, these are the very locks you want to have. Yeah.
Between that and or a police lock, those are the best two to have, folks, because they're damn near impossible. There's ways to slide it open, but you got to think on it, okay? But that right there is the door. That's what. First off, that'll tell you right there he didn't lock himself out, okay? He didn't. There's no way. So, but that's it. That's what was on their door right there.
I've seen these things on the bulkier ones where they kind of halfway, they don't go all the way locked, but they halfway kind of close where, where you see the very thin part up there. It kind of gets caught in that very initial part. And then you just got to go in there with like a hanger or something. You just kind of pull the door, knock it back, and you knock it off of that. It's no big deal.
Right.
But for it to be fully locked to the point you got to break the door down, that's intentionally done from the inside of the home. 100% intentionally from inside the home, which tells me the whole kicking down the door was done after the fact, after he took this young lady's life. He found a way to just demolish that door or whatever he claims he had to do to get in. And I guarantee, I wish I could see a picture, because I guarantee you, based upon how he did it, the part that's actually attached to the door frame is what's still connected to that lock part. It came free from the frame because that's the easiest way to break that from the outside. Well, you're not breaking the inner part of that off the door. You got to break it from the frame part.
Right there.
No, the other side. The other side.
Right, but this is all that happened, AR. Look, you can see where it's separated from the door. That's it. It's just
that's not possible.
Not at all.
I'm telling you that he did that from the inside. He used a blade and he pulled that away.
There you go. There you go, bro. That's what I'm saying. You can see the two screws sticking out now here, and it looks like something was shoved behind it, and they pried it open. That's exactly what I
used a blade. You take a knife blade that's thin, like the one that's probably embedded in her chest or similar to it.
Yep.
You slide it down in, and you pop. It happens all the time. I mean, it's exactly easily doable. That's how like these types of locks right here are very similar to what's used on storage units, to where you latch the thing over the top and then you slide your lock down through the storage unit to where that piece on the right is behind the lock. And it's very difficult to get that, over the top of a lock, obviously. So what do? You pop it off to where the lock just stays engaged. But the way to do that's to get behind the mechanism and pop it. And that's exactly what happened on this door. And for investigators not to know that, dude, they got snitches. They got informants all over the place to teach them this stuff. They got like classes with ex-freaking burglars that will teach them for money. And I know, because they offered me a plea agreement.
That's the problem. I'm pretty sure they do know. And you can see it right there, folks, where it's separated just that little bit there and there from the door, exactly like AR explained it, that it was pried backwards. That's all that was done to this. And then he made it look like he kicked the door in, because here's the rest of it, folks. If he would have kicked the door in, we've kicked doors in as firefighters many times. All of this would have been ripped off the wall. Every bit of that would have been torn completely off the wall. Okay. No way. That's a bullshit lie. Excuse me.
Well, when you kick that in too, Dago, and you guys probably remember this, you go right around the doorknob area. You get either right above the doorknob or you get right around that. Typically, it's best to be right above the doorknob, closest to the actual, the framing, and you want it create the pressure impact that actually disengages the lock away from the frame and kicks the door open.
Absolutely.
But the whole trimming of that door comes with it. When you do that on the inside, it all comes,
Every bit of it.
including the lock and everything. But it wouldn't have disengaged where that lock is disengaged. It would have disengaged where the framing is, the trim. That whole trim piece would have came. And
Every
it
bit of
didn't.
this right here, you guys, would have came right off the wall. That would have been attached to this still, and this would have still been attached to the door. That would have all came off, and it did not.
Yeah.
And it's evident, like AR said, exactly how this happened right here.
Yeah, I mean, and literally you're going to see the footprints right next to the door handle. You would see his pressure. I guess it doesn't even have to be your foot. If you're dumb enough, you could try to use your hip or whatever you want to try to use. I always just say use your foot. Don't be stupid.
You back up and you use your foot. There's a way to do it. You turn your back to it. They actually teach this in fire school. You turn your back to it and you brace yourself and you use your foot, and you can actually do exactly what you said.
It's called a horse kick.
Exactly.
It's called a horse kick.
100%. Yes, sir. So,
and that gives you the uplifting motion when you do it that way. That's why it's so like effective. Is when you use a horse kick, you have all your weight coming back with your foot because you're stable up top, but it's coming upwards when it hits in near that door handle area, lifting the lock mechanism of the door, the handle, up out of the inner locking part of that frame and trim. Now the top lock just comes disengaged when the trim comes disengaged.
Exactly.
I mean, that's simple.
Yeah, and no,
That's
folks.
simple.
We're not promoting how to break into an apartment. I promised you that. We're just explaining
what
happened here.
They've definitely improved. This is 2011. Let me tell you now, they've upgraded this big time. Like it's a way different mechanism altogether. They've put their minds together and figured this out. But
Agreed.
What that shows me is this man was inside the home. He was upset. They got into a fight. It went overboard. He took her life, no doubt about it. And then he played cover up, and you could tell that by the 911 call. That's the weakest 911 call. I mean, I thought Idaho 4 was bad.
Oh, I know.
That dude, Jesus, man.
It's like I said, folks. It's in my opinion, I'm 100% there with AR. He went downstairs to work out, whatever. There was a conversation, a bad conversation, an argument. He tried to get back in. She locked him out because she was probably out of fear. She didn't want to get hit anymore, in my opinion. He did what he did. He got in the apartment. He attacked her, and then he had to cover it up at that point, and here we are. That's exactly what I think happened. What's up, Twiz? Good to see you. And welcome, Lucci. Good to see you today. Again.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, I hate to say it. I used to have a temper, man. And it was good when my wife locked me out. It was good because it made me go away and go calm down. Could I have gotten in the home? Yeah, but I just took it as I got to go calm down. But when I was texting, like, hey, open that damn door, she knew to come open the door. I was going to break it down.
Very much so.
But this is pure sign of, did they do an investigation? Did they come out with anything, Dago, in regards to how their relationship was? Did anybody say there was arguments that were transpiring?
They didn't get. Nobody wanted to say anything. Nobody wanted to say a word. Now, one thing I wanted to point out to you guys as well that I forgot about completely, but one of the wounds on Ellen, I don't know if you saw it, AR, was a hell of a lot worse than what I completely forgot about. There was an actual wound to her brain on the back of her head, folks. I don't know
the membrane.
Did you see that one where she was stabbed in the back of the head?
I was reading about it. Yeah, I mean, you're done at that point. Like, you're not going to continue.
Look at that real quick. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
You see that right there, you guys? Trigger warning, by the way, just in case. But that's the one you didn't see in that other photograph, okay? So understand that think about the anger, the rage, the violence that promoted that right there alone. But that, and then these down here where you can see the angle, there's nothing left after this was done. Okay. Nothing. So just saying, I wanted to make sure that was seen too.
That looks to me, if it's the same knife, that looks to me like you did a back and forth maneuver to get it out of.
You had to, because
I mean,
yes, you are right.
A little bit of a trigger warning. When you stab somebody near a bone area, it tends to get stuck or break.
Yeah, and if it's wedged in with the bone, you're right. You have to work it to get it back out. Absolutely.
I mean, like literally when I got shanked and it hit bone, and they literally had to finagle it back out to do it again.
Yep.
And
like I said,
that's why that wound in the back of the head, that's a knockout punch, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
That's game over right there.
And that's why I believe AR, I believe he got into the apartment. She was cutting up fruit salad, folks. Remember that. So she had the knife in her hand, I'm sure. They got into an argument. He gets in the apartment and he comes running in, cussing her out, as we read in the text messages, comes back from behind her and goes at her. Okay. And she maybe tried to defend herself, but there weren't many defensive wounds. He didn't give her a chance. As we hear, like when Xana was attacked with the knife, she had 50 on stab wounds, and a lot of it were on her hands from defending herself. Ellen didn't have that opportunity. He didn't give her a chance. So
there are things, Dago, that are clearly unexpected attacks. Like you're sitting there sweet talking, and then bang, it's over. I mean, and if this guy had it determined that he was going to handle his business, there's no stopping that. And she's not going to stop it. She's not even. But this is one-on-one, and I want people they got to take a deep breath when they say, well, how can you think about how this happened and think about this is two different scenarios. We're talking one-on-one, husband and wife, unexpected scenario. No wife expects just out of the blue their husband's going to attack them in a manner like that with a knife. And my wife would tell you, even with the anger issues and the explosions I've had in life, she's never feared that before. So if for some reason I did come unglued mentally and something like that happened, she would never expect it. There would be no defense of it because that would come out of the blue. And he has size, he has strength, and he has knowledge of planning what he's going to do. It's a little different than 1-on-4 on two different levels. And I mean, two wildly different cases. But this is sickening that an investigation would be. Now, Dago, now I just want to jump all over this and I want to dig into this and be like, I'm here for you, to the family. Like, I'm going to go all out. And I'm going to show that this is a sick man. I would love to meet this guy, Sam, and just have a chat.
Yeah.
I don't believe him, Dago. I don't believe him one bit.
No. Nope. I do agree. Did you see there was an update? Ellen's parents have spoken out. There's a couple different little versions of it since the new verdict on the scenario.
I know that I was getting ready to look into that. I haven't been able to. If you have that, let's play it.
I have one of them from Inside Edition, which is okay because I run that all the time. If you want to throw that up there, you can. It's a real quick one. It's not super long. Oh, hang on, you guys. I'm sorry. I screwed up. 1 second.
You're as good at this as I am.
Oh, my fingers, I get to shaking sometimes and my hand overlaps and does stupid things. So I'm sorry.
Trust me, I 100% understand. But especially after you've already put in a 5.5, 6 hour day already, my friend.
Oh, it's all good. I could go all night, bro. I do this all day, all the time. No big deal.
I went to see the hand surgeon today that just decided that I needed another month of bed. So
I get it. Absolutely. What's up, Buddy Bear? Good to see you, brother. All right, guys, here we go.
The parents of the teacher whose death was ruled a suicide after she was stabbed 23 times are speaking out today.
What do you both believe happened to your daughter?
She was murdered and she was being abused.
27-year-old Ellen Greenberg was found dead 14 years ago, and her still grieving parents have been fighting all that time to have the case reopened. Yesterday, the medical examiner in Philadelphia announced that she's standing by the controversial ruling that Ellen took her own life.
We're deeply disappointed and disgusted.
Do you want this to be reopened again? Do you want another medical examiner to take a look?
We want to know what happened to Ellen.
Right, we want a legitimate investigation on what happened to our daughter.
Ellen and her fiance Sam were planning to marry in 2011. He recorded a video Valentine.
I love my fiance Ellen Greenberg so much because she's my best friend in the whole wide world, and she makes me so happy whenever I think about her. I love her. Mwah, honey.
But Josh and Sandy Greenberg say Ellen was having second thoughts.
Ellen had asked to come home. I had sent her to a psychiatrist because the only thing I was concerned about was Ellen. And the psychiatrist said Ellen was suffering from anxiety. You do not kill yourself over anxiety.
Her fiance, Sam Goldberg, told cops he found Ellen dead in the kitchen of their apartment after coming home from the gym.
My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere. Please come, help, now. Oh my God, she stabbed herself. There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Ellen's parents say there is ample evidence that she did not commit suicide, including unexplained bruises on her body. Then there's this. 11 of the stab wounds were on the back of her neck. Her parents question how improbable it was that Ellen could have caused those wounds herself.
Have either of you heard from Ellen's former fiance, Sam, after all of this?
There was a time when he would call Sandy and talk to her, and she would end the conversation on the phone. You know, Sam, we know this is not a suicide. He didn't respond to it. He didn't say anything.
The TV sports producer has since married and has 2 children. Ellen was the Greenbergs' only child.
We were raising her to be the best version of herself. We were looking forward to generations of her and grandchildren. Everybody looked up to her.
Ellen's former fiance says she suffered from mental illness, and allegations he had something to do with her death are lies and distortions to avoid the truth.
That's
Did
so very
Did
sad.
they put him through some sort of mental health evaluations?
They did nothing, AR, nothing.
And I'll be honest with you, like, even in some of my much lower level crimes, if they involved a little bit of violence or I scared somebody, they put me through mental evaluations. They put me through all kinds of things. And I would think being this close to a fiance that lost her life in this type of way, you would want to get the mental, because I could tell just listening to, like, I had to hold back from laughing. I'm sorry. The guy's just not.
It's hard.
I might
isn't
not
it?
use the sharpest tool in the shed. That would not be appropriate for this case. But
No, but it was very hard to not laugh at the call because it's almost comical, like he was joking about it. Do you know what I mean?
well, you can catch the lies right away. Dago. See, okay, so I caught it right away. When he got in, he said that there's massive blood everywhere. But then when she's talking to him about her breathing, there's nothing like there's blood coming out of her back. There's blood coming from her head. There's blood coming from her chest. She has a knife in her chest. There's nothing.
And then don't forget, folks, he called his uncle and his cousin before he called 911. So there's no urgency. There's no real urgency in his voice, folks. It sounds like he's reading from a script on a stage doing a play. That's exactly what it sounded like to me. Oh no. I mean, I could fake better than that, and I don't even know how to do that, you know?
I don't have the emotion. Generally, I don't have the emotional capability to fake stuff like that. Like, I just don't. I come across just very bland. Like, Jen's told me numerous times. She's like, man, if you had to call somebody to get me help, you would sound like you're just normal. And I'm like, well, I've kind of been through hell and back, so I'm just used to seeing it now. So it doesn't really affect me as much. But I could still tell you what I'm seeing. It would be, even in a very bland way, Dago, I could say, hey, look, I just got home. There is blood all over my kitchen. my future wife is bleeding out of so many places. I don't think there's a reason for me to give her CPR right now because every time I push down, blood sprays out. I don't think this is a good idea. You know,
exactly. And I noticed in the chat they're bringing up some things too. That yes, Sam's uncle took her phone and her laptop too. I wonder why. You gotta wonder why. And nobody questioned these people, you guys. I just got some very bad news as well, you guys. I'm sorry. This probably has no bearing on this. I'm sorry, but it's important to me. My wife just told me that Ace Frehley died.
What happened?
Ace Frehley died.
Oh, yeah.
I read that. I'm a huge Kiss fan and a music fan, so that's bad news to me. I'm sorry, you guys.
Why are we losing all of the best performers and all of the best musicians and all of the best actors and all? I mean, I'm sorry. Today's day and age sucks, dude.
I could tell you probably don't like the answer, but we're getting old, brother. We're getting old. They're older than we are, so we're getting old.
You know what I mean? You are.
Well,
maybe
I'm getting old. I'm getting old. That's what it is. You're right.
Me and Meg P are going backwards every birthday now. You're going forward.
Yes, Meg just turned 26 today, guys. So she's doing awesome. I agree with that one. Absolutely.
I mean, it's just crazy. It's another
sad
great
loss. It
loss.
is a very, very bad, sad loss. I just realized that now. It's horrible. But anyway, I didn't mean to jump things sideways. I apologize. I didn't know if anybody knew that yet, but this is absolutely and the fact that this is what my thought is too. The medical examiner said, as you heard, they're standing by their original call on this. I want to know who has threatened that person, or how much money was put in their hand, or was it both? Because that is the only thing that makes any sense to this, as far as this is concerned. AR, somebody had to threaten this person, or put something in their pocket, or do both. In my opinion, I'm sorry.
Well, it doesn't happen that a medical examiner goes into a closed door meeting with law enforcement and investigators and comes back out with a different version of what happened. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. Let me in. Let me just look at the crime scene. I could tell you whether it was suicide or not. I mean,
100%.
In the penitentiary, I've been around enough people that took their lives in a very disgusting way that it's not hard to distinguish what was done by somebody else and what was done by themselves. This is not just the one picture that we showed.
Agreed.
Exemplifies why it's not one person.
I could have walked into that scene myself as a first responder and said, "Oh my God, look out, because somebody did this to her." And they said that in the beginning, that she was murdered. Facts are facts. Until they had that meeting, and then everything went 360, and it's been there ever since. And that blows my mind that happens.
And let me give you kind of a thought I have today in regards to Sam, the good old fiance. Most people, when you walk in and you see that type of disaster in your kitchen, get 911 on the phone immediately and don't want to impede the crime scene. You can tell that young lady's not alive. It's obvious.
Absolutely. Yes.
But instead, he engulfed himself into that crime scene. And there's only one reason why you would do that. It's not because you love her and you think you can save her, because you claim you don't even know CPR.
Nope.
So you're in there so that you can get blood on you so that you can explain it away later. Now you've explained away why you broke down the door. Now you've explained the reasons why you would have blood on you, why you would have her DNA on you, why your DNA would be on her, why your footprints would be in the bloody mess in the kitchen, why your handprint could potentially be on the knife. Why? Come on, man. This is staged.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll be honest with you, I would love to have a conversation with his current wife, or I would love for somebody to have a conversation with her alone without him around and see what that conversation persists of and how it goes. Because if I'm telling you right now, an abuser once is an abuser always, in my opinion. So
I myself, Diego, would like to have a chat with his current wife, looking him dead in the eye while I was having that
That would be another one. Yes, sir. I can agree with that. I'd like to be alone with this guy just for a little while. It's obvious that, this is
I
not
want
an
him to know that, dude, we see right through you.
Yes.
Don't play me for stupid. I see you. What's that movie? I see you.
I see you. That's right. Absolutely. That's right. 100%. It's obvious, you guys. And this is the sad thing. We go through these things, many cases now. Okay. We have Ellen Greenberg. We have the Delphi story. We have the Idaho 4 case. We have Karen Reed, almost, thank God, but almost. And many others that are, this is happening every day. And people are getting away with this. In my opinion, absolute honest opinion, this is not my channel, so I have to watch what I say. Well, it is my channel, but it's his channel too, and I don't want him to get in trouble.
No, you're more than welcome.
Sam Goldberg got away with murder. That's exactly how I see this, 100%, and that's sad to me, very sad.
So, Dago, I know you run a very similar ship to I. We don't hold back here. This is adults talking true crime. I don't hide words. I don't just, I'm pretty respectful in the way I try to say things, but
of course,
I don't hide from the word murder. I don't hide from any words whatsoever.
No.
And it's like, if dude, I don't make enough money to worry about
exactly
losing my, my ability to make money. It's okay.
Exactly. That is a fact. And that's ridiculous that we should have to even think about that. But yes, I agree with you on that. It's really sad. It's really sad that this is happening. And it tells you who needs to be looked at. And I know Eddie's here with us. I appreciate you joining us tonight, Eddie. Who needs to be, he'll agree with this and he'll say this himself. The people that need to be held to accountability on this are the investigators, because they know the answer, they know the truth, and they're sitting on it and they're letting this happen. There's the problem.
It's the same thing. I think this is where I get really strong voiced. We can point right at the Idaho 4 and say, you guys know what's up in this investigation too, and you're lying all about it up and down, playing some games.
Yes.
Yes. It's not even just those cases. It's even cases that legitimately are probably solved, but they did it in an improper manner to get to that point.
Yes, sir.
So it's like you gotta just level, because people are gonna really, like I said, one of my big things that I really want to do, and I've really been blessed. I know we're going to transition into it here pretty quickly, into the Innocence Project and what they strive to do in the communities to help and do these things. But I want to step aboard and, I just want to put more focus on, let's hold some of these actual investigations accountable. The investigations always happen prior to get it to the prosecution, but the prosecution has their hands in every bit of the investigation. And that's what frustrates me so much that people don't understand. It's like, don't blame the prosecutor. Hell yeah, I blame the prosecutor, because the prosecutor was in the room with the investigator before it was even ever charges were filed. So I already see what's up. Like,
well, there's rumors floating around that the judge is very close to the Goldberg family, that the prosecutor in this area is very close friends with the family, the Goldberg family. So again, there's no justice. I'm making a t-shirt out of this, you guys. I told you, it's power versus the people, and this is absolutely what it is nowadays, 100%. In everything we look at, it's power versus the people. We're the people. We have no chance against the power, folks. It's sad.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, if you remember when I was first coming out, I was like, you know what? I'm going to step up and try to push the agenda against like prisons and how they treat people and these types of, not even so much the inmates, but the actual loved ones of the inmates. I wanted to really try and make a difference. And I realized the powers that you have to go up against to make a difference in that are just, you can't overcome them. You just can't. Not by one, not by two people. Now, if we get a substantial amount of people that are willing to really push the issue, and it's kind of like people have reached out to me, what about the Brian Koberger case? What can be done? What can be done? What can be done? Well, things can be done, but there's a lot of power in place to make it extremely difficult to do. So I know people were talking about some of the crime scene photos. Let me see if I can bring something up here. Some of these I don't even want to bring up.
Sure, sure.
You know,
Are
I
you
mean,
talking
it's
about
like
Ellen's case or the Idaho case?
no, I was talking about the Ellen Greenberg case.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's some of them just aren't even that important, but they show some.
Right.
You know, like let me show this because, like I said, I come from a background of cutting and things of that nature.
Mhm.
So I want to let's see if I get this up here. I don't know how to make that bigger, but
that double arrow up there in the middle of the X and where it says visit site, try clicking that.
this is not cutting. This is not you trying to what's the proper wording? I never knew the proper wording. Defame your own body or like mutilate your own body.
Self-mutilation,
Scarification.
right.
Like I was big into scarification when I was young. When I realized I was a cutter, I said, hey, maybe I'll get into scarification. It's kind of cool.
There you go.
I can do cool designs. This
Right,
isn't that, ladies and gentlemen. That's
not self-mutilation at all. That is absolute.
That's a wound.
Yes.
More wounds.
Yeah.
That's
again,
not, guy. You don't do that to yourself. That's not cutting. That's also not trying to take your own life.
And I'm gonna tell
That's
you,
retarded. If you think that's an attempt to take your own life, you
that
ought to
one
join
right-
the Idaho 4 investigative team.
Exactly. And that one right there that's labeled N. The rest of these, unless that was the very last one, which we know it wasn't. If once she did that, that would have shut her down right there. Period. She'd be immobile.
Well, that hits like the spinal stuff.
Exactly.
You don't do that when you're trying to. Here's some. Come on, man. Really? No. Even a person that is legitimately trying to take their life, there's far better ways.
Yeah. Oh, and there's statistics. If you go look at them, okay. If you go look at the statistics and bring them up, it take a while for me to find it, but I've gone through it before with multiple cases. When I covered Deborah Collier, when I covered this one, women don't do this to themselves. Okay. Women that take their own lives on a psychological aspect are in pain already. They're not going to promote and cause more pain to themselves by doing something like this. If they do cut, it's usually in the wrist area or they overdose on purpose. That's the statistical aspect of to women taking their own lives. To do what was done here makes absolute no sense on a psychological aspect, folks. Stabbing themselves multiple times in the back of the head and then in the chest. Come on. I mean, nobody believes this. Nobody believes this.
So this is a bruise, obviously,
That's a
on
pretty
the
deep
wrist.
bruise too, AR. And you can see the green the ones that next to them that are old. They're older.
This is not at all an attempt to take a life or to cut yourself. None. This has no resemblance of any of that because this would be an actual scar if it was a cut.
Yeah.
You would be scarred.
And how did she get the bruises
abuse
from taking her own life? That's another one too, AR. Like, did she bruise herself first and then take her? You know what I mean? Like, come on. These things make no sense.
No. I'm sorry. I've been around a lot of wounds, man.
That's a finger. That's a fingerprint from somebody grabbing and squeezing.
Yeah, that's absolute abuse is what that is.
Yeah.
This isn't hard to really determine here.
Not at all.
But this is what's called an investigative team and a prosecutor that's willing. It kind of reminds me when I was younger, and I lived in New Mexico, and I was out doing really dumb things, but I had a group of people I was doing them with. We were pretty young kids.
Right.
And one of the young kids had connections within, higher priority, like the city council and stuff like that than I did. My parents were a teacher and a banker, good people, normal people, but we didn't have pull around town like that. So I got the charges, but they all somehow got deferred sentences that if they completed their little 30-day probation, they didn't even have a charge on their record. Me, I was 11 years old with a felony record already because I didn't get out of things.
Absolutely. I understand. There it is again, folks. In that photograph, it showed the letter N, as I pointed out to you. You see how far in that went and what it goes into. There should have been done with that one right there. That's the end. She would not
That's an intentional spot, Diego.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's literally like right in the middle, folks. Okay. And that right there, battery's not included. You're done. It's over right there.
Well, E, H, and I is intentional. T is a downward force that you as an individual can't do to yourself.
No, that is like this, okay? Like coming down in that form, yes.
I mean, even H, look at the angle of H.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So to get yourself in the stomach or the chest area, you have to literally pull it towards you with enough force. You're not going downwards, you're coming towards you. And in most cases, it would be in an upward angle to be able to do that.
Agreed.
And that's what's so frustrating about this is the medical examiner would know that. And that's why he determined homicide at the very beginning.
And if you look, E is the finality, okay? And the man clearly stated, and you wouldn't know this unless you knew this, okay? It looks like she fell or it looks like she stabbed herself in the heart, were his words, or she fell on a knife and it went into her heart. And it shows in the diagram, E is directly into and through the heart. He knew that was intentional. He meant to do that because if you stab somebody in the heart, they're done, okay? And that is why I'm telling you it was intentional. He knew 100% what he was talking about with that.
To me, this actually angers me that people would think we were this stupid.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And yes, the spinal cord was severed. And that's the thing. They think everybody that's going to see this, as I said with the Idaho case and others, they don't anticipate people caring enough about this to look that deeply into it. Well, sad thing is with this case, you don't have to look that deep, folks. The surface shows the whole story. It's right there.
I mean, just looking at some of these pictures, they just have they have no answer unless you got a person accountable for the damage done to this woman.
Agreed.
And I can understand why the family would be so frustrated because it's going back and forth. They go back and forth, back and forth. You got homicide. You got she took her own life. You got homicide. Back to your own life. Come on, man. It doesn't change on a daily basis. I mean, you got to get to the point. You got to determine what this is. I don't know. I mean, that's just frustrating, but that leads us to also, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about the Idaho 4 and the Innocence Project is because, I took it, I wanted to learn. That was my main objective. I wanted to learn something. So instead of me continuously trying to figure out my theories or how I felt this went down and then trying to put my 2 cents into who actually did it and why, I decided I needed to go a different route. And it was going to be mentally soothing for me to reach out to the Innocence Project that literally is nationwide, but also state by state. and they work with the families, and not only just families of victims. We're talking about families of the accused, and they have to weed through so many cases because everybody wants the Innocence Project involved. I even remember when I was in the penitentiary, everybody wanted the Innocence Project involved. Most cases, you always heard about them becoming more active past the conviction, after trial, after everything was said and done in the courtroom. But then when this Koberger plea deal hit, it just really kind of sparked something in me. Maybe it was the IVs, maybe it was the medication, or it was the fact he took a plea bargain. I don't know yet. But I was like, you know what? So many people are talking about the Innocence Project. And I remember 2 years ago, I reached out to the National Foundation and spoke with somebody very high up, amazing woman that was able to share some time with me and explain things to me to where I better understood it. I said, okay, cool. And at that time, it just kind of simplified some of my thoughts, and then I could move on. Well, since this plea bargain, it's a whole nother thing. I wanted to know, legitimately, was the Innocence Project interested in Bryan Kohberger and the case? And if they were, would the plea agreement affect that? And why would they be interested if they were? And it was a very simple, and it kind of surprised me, answer to start the conversation. We've been interested since the very day Bryan Kohberger landed in Idaho. And we've been trying to be involved in this case since his arraignment. And I was like, oh, wow, that, I didn't really know that. I'd heard, and, that's pretty interesting. Can you give me some details? Give me just basics even. Like, I don't need all the in-depth stuff. I just want basics, anything I can wrap my own head around, because I'm not going to understand 90% of the stuff you're going to say anyway. I just want the basics. They said, okay, look, we get involved in most parts because of DNA. DNA is our big thing in the Innocence Project. Most of our people we've been able to help is DNA type cases where we felt as though DNA could possibly be either manipulated or it could be incorrectly handled, or the conclusion based upon said DNA could point to the wrong person. I said, well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people I've been incarcerated with were there because of DNA. I've been there because of DNA a couple of times, and mine wasn't even these high-level cases. Mine's just basic level DNA I left at the crime scene, whether I rubbed up against something, I left my hat, whatever it might be. So it made sense to me. And I said, but again, you need to explain to me, because this man just said in open court he was guilty by taking this plea bargain. And from what I understand, there's no appeal process. There's nothing at the end of the day of this. We're done, right? That was my point I was trying to make. We're done at this point? It's over? They said, oh, hell no, it's not over. It's a narrower path, but it's not over. So, okay, well, that makes sense. They said the big issue they're having is the DNA, because Idaho's done everything, anything and everything to either not produce it or to hide it. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've been following the case since the beginning. Dago, I know you have too.
Right.
We've been watching this since the beginning, and it's always a fight about DNA.
Yeah.
What I didn't know is when Bryan Kohberger was standing silent and he was battling the grand jury indictments, and I recommend to people like Kathy Zindizone, I know you work very hard, and I'll actually, if we want to email each other, I'll get you out some information of who you can contact. I absolutely recommend you contact the Idaho. What's that?
I think Kathy'd definitely be interested in it, truly.
Yeah. So the Idaho Innocence Project was in the courtroom in Moscow, Idaho, with Judge while the back and forth. Remember all the stuff like we heard about the sticky note, the CD of the DNA information? They were involved then. They wanted the evidence. They wanted DNA evidence. And Judge shut him down and said, you're no longer allowed to be involved in this case, period. Move on. He wouldn't unseal any of the information. He would not open any doors to being able to look at evidence. And this is what baffled me. And it was a great conversation when I broke it down to him, you know, the people I was talking to. And I'm very careful to give out names because if people are interested in contacting them themselves, I'll do it privately with you guys.
Sure.
I'll share the people I spoke to because they were very gracious with me, very open, very candid, very open with their time. So I was appreciative of some of the things they were willing to talk to me about, but I did it on a very respectful manner because I know it can be overwhelming. They probably get 1 million phone calls, especially in regards to this case. Like
I agree with that. Yeah.
They've got to be just overwhelmed with everything coming in. And like we saw, you know, with Judge Hippler, his office taking phone calls, the court's taking phone calls. I mean, it's overwhelming.
I'm sure.
And she literally took time, and I'll say it, it's a she, and she's the director. I've spoken both. What's that?
Maybe we could communicate. I can get some info off you to maybe possibly look into it myself afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give you direct emails. I'll give you stuff that you can reach out to them because it's amazing.
I'm definitely interested. Agreed.
Awesome. And you know, the thing that it just showed me, and I had to sit back because you remember just not long ago, Dago, when we were together on a panel, and I know I upset a few people. I really did. When I said, well, he said he's guilty. That's it, man. I'm done. Like, this dude's guilty. And people took it as I was saying, well, he did it. That's not what I was saying. I was saying he cut his own feet off and he shut down his chances of battling this. Like, you got to take this to trial. You got to fight for yourself, especially if you're innocent. You got to do this. And you know what the Innocence Project told me? That's not true. That's not true. They said, well, why? Well, how would that not be true, man? I'm a past felon. Like, how is that not true? They said because he might have realized with 100% certainty, with everything that was happening in that courtroom, he had zero chance. He was going to drag his family through the mud. Everything was going to be smashed upon him.
Right.
And then, he was going to rely on going through the appeal process. And I said, well, that's what you have to do, right? And they said, no, you bypass all that through a plea agreement. It's okay if you waive your appeal process because what you're waiting for is the evidence to exonerate you. And that's where the Innocence Project can and will help, is they can step in and they go find those answers. They investigate. They dig deep. I think they're going to do far more investigation than the law enforcement agency of Moscow or the state police of Idaho.
Now, and that I agree with you on that. Did you ask them by chance, if you don't mind me asking this, as far as their take on this, if there was any contact between them and Ann Taylor, and if what their thoughts were about and with Ann Taylor with the situation?
They would not. There was. I wouldn't even ask that question, to be honest. Like, I didn't want to overstep my boundaries, so I tried to keep it just directly towards learning the process more.
Gotcha.
Like, I really wanted them to feel comfortable that I was not here for just Brian Kohberger.
Sure.
I was here for the process and what I was watching and seeing and how it didn't make sense to me. So no, they made no statements. They made no reference. They made nothing towards any of the defense team, nothing about the prosecution. They were very, very clear that Judge was the one that shut it down very early in the Moscow, Idaho courts, and the path for the Idaho sector was shut down at that very minute.
So you're saying that Judge, not Judge Hippler, but Judge had shut it down even before he got into Ada County, huh?
Yeah, Judge was the initial person that blocked anything with the DNA from being released at any point in time. I mean, I guess you could say, well, that's, it's because it's sealed. It's this. But look, in most investigations, and I think people like Kathy, Cindy Zone, and many of us that have been around true crime would know, DNA evidence is not always sealed.
Right.
Now, I get the IgG being sealed, but even with all the sealing, we knew Brian Koberger's DNA was found at the crime scene.
Right.
So why can't you speak upon the other DNA found at the crime scene? Why did Judge feel as though it was important to lock down DNA so tightly, and then Bill Thompson send the FBI directly to Gabriela Vegas's home and all these different things?
Oh, yeah.
They were so set on this DNA is not going to get talked about. It's just not.
Exactly.
When all they had to come out and say is, we used the IgG, we got to our person of interest, we arrested him, and here we are.
Right. And Kathy's got a great point with what she stated in there. When I looked into what I could read about the Innocence situation, the Innocence Project, that Brian has to greenlight this all. It has to come from him. He has to be the one. And I want to reiterate, I want to ask you if that was stated, but from my understanding, what I read about it is he has to be the one to say, let's do this. They can't go to him.
Well, and I can make a pretty clear statement, and, I was going to kind of finalize it with that. Right now, there is no Innocent Project involvement in the case at all. Not from the federal level, not from the state level, not on any level at all. That might be because of just exactly what you stated.
Right.
Maybe they're waiting to see if there's some sort of thumbs up from somewhere that says, hey, we're moving on this. They might just be trying to figure out where the hell is the rest of the DNA. You guys claim you don't have it. Where is it? Like, we know there's other DNA samples. Where is it all? I don't know. There's no way I could ask that question appropriately to them and expect a valid answer, because I'm pretty sure that they would have to be bound by something. I don't know what it would be, but if they don't even know or have answers to the DNA, I think that's why they would give me the very true statement of, we're not involved at this time.
Right. And
they're clear about it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And like I said, I still wonder, and I know people disagree with me thinking what I think, and that's okay. And I've been told, well, it doesn't always happen the way you're explaining it, this and that, everything else. I would have expected the defense team to withdraw from being Brian's defense counsel at this point. Okay. He's in prison and we're said and done. As far as everybody's concerned, I would have expected to see a withdrawal by the defense team at this point, but they have not done that. It makes me wonder. Very curiously, I'm wondering why. Is there something else that they're working on, like you said, in the background? Maybe they're working with the DNA. Bicca's still there doing her thing, this and that. They kept her on through the whole thing. And I gotta wonder, is there something that's being worked on in the background? And then at some point, are they going to reach out to the Innocence Program and say, okay, we're ready for this now? He's ready.
Well, and I'll be kind of upfront with a gut feeling I got through the conversation I was having. In this conversation, I was pretty fortunate, like I told you, because I kind of took a different approach to it. I was able to talk to him on a handful of occasions and not for just 5 minutes at a time.
Right.
So, I mean, I was able to chat for a substantial amount of time with them. And Bicca Barlow is going to be the connection that I think everybody needs to keep their eyes on.
Yes.
I think that she's going to be the player.
Yep.
I don't think, this is just me, I don't think it's going to be Ann Taylor, and I don't think it's going to be Nassau. I believe it's Bicca Barlow, because she's also directly involved with DNA, so she would have a lot of answers to a lot of questions that the Innocence Project would most likely need answered.
And that's why I brought her up. I agree with you. Yep. I do agree with you. That's why I brought her up. And also, you remember AR at the end of all of this, when questions were being answered, that Anne started referring a lot of this to Becca at that very end, and I was interested in that. And I'm just curious. I'm just saying, I'm just curious. And that's why I brought her up. I agree with you wholeheartedly, bro, on that one. I do.
And I mean, just to kind of, I've had attorneys stay on after the fact when I was sentenced to the penitentiary, but it's because I had it wasn't because I was still being defended in the case or I was trying to get, an appeal or anything. Of course, if you're going through an appeal, you have the option to keep them on if you want to. You don't have to. You can search out your own. But they can also make the decision that in the appeal process, if you don't have the financial means to go out and get your own, they can continue to represent you. Now, I think the key factor that a lot of people need to look at, Ann Taylor and Massoff are both private attorneys. So if they want to, they could do it pro bono. Like a lot of people have asked, why don't these attorneys do this pro bono? Well, they just might be doing
I agree with that.
Nick Barlow is.
Yes. Kathy just said that they get to bill for this 2-year-long project. Read the unsealing of. Okay. Thank you, Kathy. That's a good point.
Let me give you a little bit of a laughing matter too, because I know a lot of people are doing FOIA requests. And I've had people reach out to me behind the scenes and say, I'm surprised you're not in the mix of all this FOIA requests. I said, I learned my lesson on my 3rd FOIA request when they came back and said, you're a felon. We have no interest. And I'm like, are you serious?
I get it.
Seriously? You're worried about me being an ex-criminal asking for a FOIA request? I pay my taxes no, not really.
That shouldn't matter. But that's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
But, that's the thing. Like, I try to do things appropriately, and I try to go through the proper channels, and I get denied. And then, you know what? I really enjoy giving support to the other creators that do put in the effort. And I'm always a big fan, and I watch them put it out first and do the overview of it. And I think that's one reason why I've been very comfortable in taking a step away and just allowing everybody else to go over the court docs, to go over the MPD documents, to go over all that stuff. It's nice to lay there with my headphones on, just listen, not have to worry about content creating. I like to listen to others' opinions too.
Sure.
But it was a real experience for these people when I told them, I just want to learn. Like, you don't have to share downright details of it. I don't need to know the footsteps that, you took that tripped or whatever. None of that's my business. Just teach me the process and then use a little bit of the Coburg or Idaho case to give me some guidance in learning that process and applying it. And they just very, very helpful. They were very, very helpful in that sense. And then I've just kept it just kind of, I knew you and I would come on here, we would have a discussion, and it would be a great place to kind of discuss it and bring it out, and I told you the other night, this is something that I want to get more involved with. And people would say, what do you mean? I want to become a part of helping in any way I can, even if it's just fundraising or whatever for the Innocence Project, because I believe that what we're seeing happen within our system across the board, from investigative techniques to the treating of not only victims' families, but even suspect families,
to
then the court process. I watched a judge in the Idaho 4 case that literally had Brian Koberger sentenced before he ever even got awarded the case.
Absolutely.
He was sentenced. He was done. Like he was getting a death penalty.
I brought that up last time we talked when you were on my panel last week, that I remember when you and Twiz and Jen and you guys were all there for that one hearing, that Jen, one of the first things she stated as soon as you guys walked out of that courtroom, she said, he's done. That man is done. He's made up his mind. It's over. That's it. And that was what the first or second hearing with Hitler, wasn't it?
So it was the motions to eliminate hearing. So they had already gone through the motions to suppress. the Frank's denial type deal, but I think that was all one. That was the couple of day hearing that they had. Remember that? They were going to determine whether they were going to do the Frank's motion and all that. That was a 2-day hearing. So it was one directly after that one.
It was very early. Like, I swear to God. Well, okay. Were you there when he did the whole? It wasn't the first hearing where he said, "I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I'm happy to be here." It wasn't that one, right? Okay.
No, that was just him introducing himself.
Right.
And then after that, they went into the motions to suppress, and I was at the very next hearing after that. But he was already guilty in Judge Hippler's. I mean, first of all, the minute he took the case and he came in and says, well, I don't want to lie to anybody. None of us want to be here. Guilty. But then even at the motions to suppress on the second day, when it was the Frank's motion stuff, and he made the statement about Brian Koberger leaving his DNA in the house and how he shouldn't have done that if he wanted privacy rights.
Yeah.
Guilty. And then to get to where Jen and I were, and let me tell you, if Jen sniffs it out, look, she's a different breed than I am. Jen is that good, religious, well-raised family girl, never been in trouble except for what I've caused.
Right.
Just a very honest, hardworking, good girl. And if she could step into a courtroom, and her only real court experience, there's 2 court experiences my wife has. She has an aunt that got caught up pretty early in Jen's life. They got a 10-year sentence for narcotics that Jen's family had to take in the children and raise. So she endured that, but she was never in the courtroom. She was too young. Then me. She had to go through my court experiences, which were a handful of them. And she got the gist of Judge Hippler quickly and was able to pinpoint and say, Brian Koberger ain't got no shot in this one. None. And I looked right at her. I said, of course he's got a shot. He's got a trial. She goes, he's not going to trial. Jen called that way in advance. He's not going to trial.
She did. She absolutely did. I remember watching that day, and I went, I'll be damned. And you could tell by the look on her face. She was absolutely sure of her statement. So, I mean, and we all watched him. The first hearing, other than his initial statement, I said, oh, well, maybe he's going to be fair. It is going to be going down the middle. Who knows? The very next hearing after that is when I was like, it's this. And the one where Jen made her statement, I think, is when he showed his true self. And I said, we're done. That's it. It's the end. And from there forward, he absolutely did nothing. And I mean, he didn't, in my opinion, he did not even acknowledge the defense. Okay. As part of the situation. And it almost looked to me as though Judge Hippler was brought in as an extra person to work with the prosecution. That's exactly how it looked.
And see, I have a comparison that I can give too, because this is the deflation of Ann Taylor. A lot of people have to realize I was in the courtroom in Moscow, Idaho once as well with Judge and watched Ann Taylor and Massoff full bore go to work. And then I was in the courtroom in Boise with Judge Hippler.
Right.
And that was not the same Ann Taylor. Totally different.
Yeah.
Judge Hippler 100% took away Ann Taylor's just drive and voice. It was gone. And Jen looked at me and said, isn't this the attorney that you thought was good? Like, she fights for everything. Because I told Jen, this is the lady right here that tears apart cases, and she finds all of the discrepancies in law enforcement's investigative techniques. And Jen, when we were up in Boise, looked at me and goes, did Massoff and Ann Taylor switch places? Like, did they switch bodies? What happened? Because Ann Taylor didn't want to speak. Massoff did. And I said, well, honey, I think that, it's because her mom passed. Ann Taylor's mother passed, and my wife looked at me and says, wouldn't that make her more like feisty and driven? Like, you're not going to piss me off even more than I already am? Like, and I don't know, honey, you're a woman, not me. I don't know what it does to you guys, but totally different. I don't know. I mean, it just, and to think that why would you shut down, Dago? So if you have a well-known, I want to call it a foundation, I think that's a good word,
Sure. There you
of
go.
something like the Innocence Project, that we know they do good work, and they don't take on every case. They've now overturned, I believe it's a little over 250 actual convictions. Now they've made a big difference in cases that didn't end up in convictions as well, which is what I think they were trying to do in the Koberger case. So they don't take on everybody and anybody. There would have been no chance
Right.
that the Innocence Project would have ever looked at any of my cases. None of them. And for a judge to be like, we don't need your help here. We got this, and you're barking up the wrong tree, and I'm going to shut you down. All they wanted to do was find the truth. I don't get that. Why do we do that nowadays?
Right. Completely understand. I mean, it's, I don't even have words for that part of, I don't know what to say about that in itself. I think that the other part of what you were saying is amazing. Good to see you, Jess. And I know, that's what I was going to bring up. I'm sorry. I was trying to think of my thought. My ADHD kills me sometimes, bro, when I completely lose my thought that I had a few minutes ago. But I was brought information, and I want to clarify. I'm pretty sure this is on point too. But did you know, and my understanding is that Stephen Hippler took part in choosing himself to be the judge in that case. They put together like a board of directors, board of judges, whatever it is, and they vote on, basically, in a sense, as to who they're going to pick to do this, from my understanding, and he was part of that, from what I was told. I feel like that's a problem. Okay, that's absolutely a problem. It's a conflict of interest, in my opinion. That's like going to court and having the judge be your dad when you did something wrong, or being the person that you stole from. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's what I meant to say. Having the judge is the person you stole from's father. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry. It just doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense to me, if that's true, how that's allowed. It just goes right into the rest of everything else we've seen. I understand, Lucy. And as she said, it was the Supreme Court, so on and so forth. But I was told that there, in some part, that he had part in something as far as recommendation or something like that. I've heard that, and I've been trying to find verifiable proof on that, and I can't find it. That's the whole thing. So,
I have an opinion in regards to when you need to appoint a new judge to a case. I have an opinion of when you need to change jurisdictions for a case. I've only had to do it, I think, one time. I transferred a case. I transferred a case a second time too, because I had cases in two different states. I was able to combine them and get sentenced in one state. I mean, it was kind of a weird deal. But, in the moving of cases, I feel as though you have to go with a panel. You got to get a 3-judge panel. You can't allow this dictation of a single judge. I've stood in front of judges, Dago, on literally misdemeanor charges I thought I was going to get a life sentence for, and I couldn't do more than 30 days. And I thought they were going to give me a life sentence because I could feel it.
Right.
And I'm just like, dude, why are you in charge of my case? Like, what in the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
I think to take some of the pressure, because I do think judges are under pressure to allow for better work through case law, and then to make a finalized decision. You do a panel of 3, and they work through it. And then people would say, well, that's too much money. That's too much time. Dude, they do that. Numerous different places and reasonings why they do it. And I think it should be done, especially death penalty cases Why did Judge Hippler deserve all the power against Brian Koberger's case? The man clearly, I could have screamed in that courtroom. You just called him guilty. You, the judge, just called him guilty for everybody to see. We just had to have a movement of this case out of Moscow.
Yep.
For this very reason. And then now you, the judge, just did it in one of the biggest markets of Idaho. Where are you going to move it now there, buddy? You know?
Absolutely.
It wasn't going to be moved. And that's the whole thing. In my opinion, it got moved to Boise. Judge Hippler was the one that they put because he wasn't going to let this go to trial. He was going to force the death penalty off the table.
Yep.
And get this plea agreement. Like anybody that wants to come at me now and tell me that these judges didn't have something to do with this plea agreement, I'm going to disagree with you, heart and soul across the board. I do not feel with everything within me that Brian Koberger made a full decision himself or with his family that this plea agreement was the proper and right way to do this case.
No. And I think this was, I'll be honest with you, in my honest opinion, you guys, as far as the prosecution and everything goes, I feel like this was the plan from the beginning. I'll be honest with you. I truly believe that with all of my heart and soul, that this was the plan. Thompson can play whatever game he wants. He can throw out whatever story and put on whatever show he wants for you guys. This was the plan from day one, in my opinion. Think about it, folks. Just think about it.
You know, when I knew, I was thinking about this the other night. I was actually laying there and I've been writing a little bit again, you know, so I was venturing back into a little bit of, I'm kind of turning my true life story into now. I'm just kind of gravitating towards the fictional, but you still have to take real life experience to put it into that. So I was thinking about the extradition because I've been extradited a couple of times. I've been extradited from the East Coast to the West Coast to the East Coast. I've been from Vegas to Arizona. I've been from Vegas to, I don't know why it always ends up I get extradited out of Vegas to somewhere else, but it always seems like when I had a warrant, I got caught in Vegas. But do you realize they literally tracked Brian Koberger's plane, the entire flight of his extradition from the point he was boarding the plane to the point he got off the plane to where media was already waiting for him in Washington State? Do you know how dangerous that is? Somebody could have taken him out.
Oh,
Brian Koberger could have got taken right then and there by anybody. But two, who's to say some crazy person doesn't try to get him out of that extradition?
Agreed. And they showed the flight process.
I watched him stop and take a leak.
Yes, the whole time, folks. It was absolute insanity. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It was like
they don't do that.
No, they don't ever. And it was almost like you were watching the president, you know, coming in from another country or something. They followed this flight the whole way, and it took all day, you guys. It took all day. And it's yes, like Lucy said, it's a huge security breach. It's dangerous.
It is. So when I was getting extradited, they could house you for up to a certain amount of days. Some states, I think, is 30. Sometimes it's 60. They got 60 days to get you out, depending on where you're at. Most of the times it happens within 30.
Right.
They shut down your phone usage. They shut down your commissary. They shut everything down. And you never know when you're leaving. Like, you have no idea when you're leaving.
Right.
And nobody else is ever going to know when you're leaving. They come whenever the hell they want. Like, I've been extradited at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've been extradited at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It just all depended when the van pulled in to link me up to the people that were being moved on to the next spot. You know, I mean, I've been flown and I've been driven. Driven sucks because you eat a lot of McDonald's. Flight is typically a lot faster, so you don't have to worry about it. When you're being driven on a van, they can only stop at jails and prisons. Sometimes you get to stay the night, get a shower. Other times you can't. You know, I mean, it's, but I'm telling you, it's completely 100% hidden. There is no information that could be spread about. And look, man, I was a basic felon thief.
Sure. Sure.
Right? Like, who's going to come break me out? I'm facing 4 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody's coming to get me. And most of the time, they were probably just going to reinstate me back on my whatever and let me back out. They're not going to literally show your progress all the way across the country in what at that point in time is the highest profile case outside of Delphi at that time. The Brian Koberger case was 100% the highest profile case. 100%.
Absolutely.
And you're going to show me the entire. Okay, let's not even say me. You're going to show Steve Gonsalves and his group of people the entire pathway of the guy that's being accused of taking his daughter.
Right.
And you don't think something could potentially happen?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it was a spectacle. Like, it reminded me of the whole white Bronco issue with the O.J. Simpson thing. Remember that? That's exactly what it reminded me of, you guys. It's insane. Like, you don't do it. It's not done. He's right. It's never been done that I've ever seen. In any other case, even high profile cases in the past, I've never seen that done. So,
dude, I couldn't call anybody when I got to my destination, when I landed where I was supposed to be. For 2 more weeks, because they didn't want to let people know I was out of transit. Like, it was a hush-hush deal.
Yeah, you
but
got to
here's
go through
another
processing and all that too, right?
Huh?
You got to go through processing and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that other stuff when you first get into
I mean,
where
it's
you're
a
going,
pain, dude. It's a pain. But here, and it's a good point too. So I have an issue with this leaked video, which I did a video on. I thought it was fake, man. Brian Koberger in the cell. I did. I thought it was generated. I thought it was fake. Like, none of it made sense to me because that looked like it was done on a cell phone to me.
That's what I
maybe
thought
I'm
at
wrong.
first too.
What's that?
That's what I thought too at first.
I thought it was cell phone.
Absolutely.
You know, prison guards can't bring their electrical devices onto the yards.
Yep.
So there's no charges for this? So one, it tells me they brought something in that's considered contraband. That's prison contraband. That's a felony charge. It's called introducing prison contraband. Look at my prison record. Not only do I have disciplinary for it, I have actual charges by the state where they gave me more time. I introduced prison contraband. Mine was cell phones. Many people have drugs. Many people have other things. Mine was cell phones. The exact thing that person brought in. That means that person could have been bringing that phone in for an inmate.
100%.
That's a felony crime. So you're telling me it's okay not only for them to bring it on to the yard, but they can leave the yard with information of the penitentiary on it? Like, now you're showing what a prison cell looks like to the outside.
Exactly. Exactly. And then to say that, well, there's no charges because that person has since resigned. And it's still illegal. I'm pretty sure that's a felony charge, AR.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I was released from the penitentiary, and 6 months later, they charged me with promoting prison contraband because I had it while I was there. It doesn't matter that I left.
Nope.
It mattered that I had it when I was there. This person now has set a standard that others can do it too.
Yes.
I mean, you have to ask yourself, when an inmate escapes the penitentiary, and ladies and gentlemen, escapes happen even off of maximum security yards.
Oh,
they happen a lot.
We've seen them. I've covered them myself. So yes.
How do you think those people get the materials that they need? I mean, I get it. Some of these guards are bringing in shit and the meat and all kinds of stuff. They're bringing in, screwdrivers and drill bits. But potentially a cell phone or whatever took this video is a way for an inmate to make phone calls to the outside world without being detected.
It is absolutely.
Then why do you think inmates get cell phones on yards? We need to talk to people on the streets and not have it heard over the public.
Right.
I always call it the public announcement payphones.
Yeah, because they
You know?
record all those conversations, and that's bingo right there.
100%. You know, every letter I wrote, every phone call I made, everything in the penitentiary, especially after I got promoting person contraband, everything was dissected, coming in, going out, everything. So that's
Right.
why cell phones are so key. This guy's not going to get charged. Really? I have a problem with that because I got charged. Why is he not? But I did.
Right. Right.
Why did the 2 guards that brought me contraband get charged, but that guy didn't? Like, I had a good
Exactly.
relationship with those 2 guards. I cared about those 2 guards. They were doing me right. They were helping me out to be able to talk to my wife when all my privileges got taken away. The only way I could talk to my wife was because they brought me away.
Yeah.
They took care of me. And I watched them fall and bite the dust over the same thing this dude does.
Sure. Sure.
That ain't right. What do you hide? What is the state of Idaho doing? They're setting
and
the
it-
precedent that it's okay to be full of shit.
And this plays into the rest of the case, in my opinion. I did a show about it last week. Like, we've seen everything we've seen about the corruption, okay? And then the man goes to prison. They got their way. And it just continues right on through. We get somebody sneaking video out. Probably got paid $10,000 for that video. And there's no charges because he quit. I'm done. I'm done, bro. That's crazy to me. Because you know damn well we're in any state, in any area, we would have been arrested. Quit or not quit, we'd have been arrested. Period. That's all there is to it. And charged with a federal crime. That's all. I'm just saying. And this guy doesn't get that. That's bullshit. I'm sorry.
I always have to be careful because Jen's like, don't tell the story. She tried to bring me a cell phone in the penitentiary. I convinced her I needed a cell phone.
I got it.
We had already got one in. So I knew the second one was a setup. Like the person I was bringing it in for, I realized was going to set me up. So I told Jen, I said, don't do it. But when I told her not to do it, she was already in the parking lot. She was on the premises and she was like, all right, whatever. She took it out of her shoe. We had a whole way that we did it the first time, thinking it would happen the second time. And obviously it wasn't going to, because when she came through the metal detector, all of the main supervisors, all the main people were waiting at that metal detector. And they called her over and they took her into a holding room and made her take off her shoes. There was no cell phone to be found. There was only the hole in the shoe where the cell phone would go.
Right.
They charged her. Even after they came and got me off the yard and they brought me up, put me into the affiliation interrogation room where they have all the boards with the affiliated members, and they kept pointing at my picture, which should have never even have been where it was, but there it was. And they're like, we got her. And I'm like, you got what? What do you mean? They're like, we got her. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they pointed down the hall and I saw her shoeless in that room. And I knew, I said, oh man, they got her. Like I thought the phone was in her shoe. So I confessed. I said, you got to let her go. It's all on me. Like I forced her to do it. You have to understand. I forced this. This was me. They're like, no, this has to be the affiliation. No, it was me. I forced it. I told her if she didn't bring me a cell phone, I was going to leave her. This was for me.
And they tried to blame it on your affiliation at the time, right?
Oh, yeah. They tried to get me to snitch and do all this stuff. So, of course, I go to the hole. Here's how dirty they did me. They rolled me out of the hole back to the same yard.
Right.
Where the guy had just gotten rolled up the day before.
Right.
They had snitched on. So everybody thought I told on him. And they rolled me back to the yard. And it's like, here we go, man. You know what I mean? But then I got lucky. My points skyrocketed. They charged me with having a cell phone because I got caught with one in my room. When they did the search of my room, I had one. So they got me. And then they charged me for the second one that I admitted to, even though I didn't get it.
Right.
I got charged with it. They still charged her.
That's insane.
I mean, they dropped her.
That should be illegal. That's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they gave her a felony promoting prison contraband and dropped it after she completed 2 years of probation. They dropped it to a misdemeanor, but it's forever on her record as promoting prison contraband, and that gives her risk. I mean, that now people can look at that in a negative way. See what this question is. Sorry, but that's just a
No, you're good.
This is why.
Jacob always asks interesting questions. I said, you're good. Jacob always asks very interesting questions.
I always wonder, was what Bethany and Dylan for those eight hours, I doubt they stayed in that house that long. Is it possible they left and came back to make the 911? See, that's something, Dago, it's a great question. It's just something we're never going to know.
We can always speculate on it, but yeah, I agree with you.
I just don't think that they're going to release enough information for us to really tie all that together, because they're going to protect Dylan and Bethany. If they were gone, we'll never know. If they were there, that's the story they want us to know. So here we are. Here we are.
Exactly.
I'm trying to see if we have any more questions. If you see any you want to answer, I mean, we'll probably wrap it up. I know you've had a really long day, my friend, and I always like to save some in the backup pocket for you and I, because we get into some of these deep conversations that are just amazing.
I'm looking now for questions.
I get on a rant and rave sometimes. They go, when I get to writing, Jem says, you know what you should do is do this like little short story book about prison experiences. Talk about extradition. Talk about cell phones and this and stuff. Because I mean, when you've been I've known people that have only served a handful of years, and they got stories for days about things that they've watched happen. So.
Right. It looks like Robert threw one out there. Thoughts on the Lifetime movie about the Idaho 4? Well,
it's going to be the first of 1,000.
Yeah, there was no doubt that was coming. I mean, they're already working on it. They have their actor picked on it, so on and so forth. I knew it was coming, and it's going to be just like Lifetime always does. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible, and and here's my problem with it, though, Robert, to be honest with you, is it's based on lies, and they don't know the truth, so it's based on untruth, in my opinion. So that's the basis of it right there.
Well, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if we can't get the proof, if we can't get our eyes to physically see the important documents and the important information, what makes you think they know anything more than what we know? I could tell some fantastic stories if you really want me to.
Sure.
I would 100% make up this just wild freaking melee of stories that everybody could follow, and it would be all fictional. It would be all fictional. And Robert, thank you for the great question, and we always have a lot of love and respect for you too.
Yeah.
So for everybody that's out there, please don't forget about the other creators that bless us with their presence within our shows, like Robert, True Crime Unleashed. Go give him a thumbs up. Go see Kathy with the Indie Zone. Please give her some love. And I know you know more as well.
Yeah, I'm looking now. And guys, if you have not yet subscribed to Kathy's Indie Zone, please do. It's very... In this case, for sure, if you have questions, Kathy answers questions every other day, folks. She does amazing shows and helps us to understand a lot of stuff that we don't, like I said earlier. And she does it in a way that you don't have to be a brain surgeon to understand it when she explains it. That's the whole issue. So please make sure you subscribe over there real quick. Hit the like button and the notification bell. You don't want to miss anything Miss Kathy puts out. And the same with Robert here, True Crime Unleashed. Robert is working on building his channel right now. He's doing a great job with it, guys. And of course, as I always have, AR will tell you, I try to support new creators that come out here for the right reason, to try to come out and get answers to truth, to bring the truth, to get answers on the questions we have, and to bring true justice, of course. So please go support Robert as well. with True Crime Unleashed. And I'm looking, I don't see really any others in here right now.
If
but
I can let Seahawks fan, she asked, where can we get one of my hats? So Jen and I are working on merchandise. We do all different styles. So I don't know if you can see.
I like that. Is that a fitted hat?
Writing. That's a fitted hat.
Oh, I need one of them.
I mean,
bro.
obviously, this is one of my originals. You know, the thing about it is I have choices over 1,000 different types of hats, different writings, different everything. So we're trying to put that all together. And I definitely appreciate the thought that you would want to wear one.
I want one of those. I want one of the fitted ones. I need one of them with the fitted styles like that. I love
Well,
that.
if you could send me your size, I'll be more than happy to send you one, Dago. And, you know, just to let everybody know, too, I'm in the works, and I'm going to answer this question in a second, Jesse, that's on the screen. I'm not ignoring you. This upcoming year, CrimeCon is here in Las Vegas. So I've already scheduled that I'm for sure going to be here. From what I understand, my good buddy Unfiltered Lucky is going to be joining me here, and we're going to be setting something up not only to work with the other creators that come into town, but to where we do things with subscribers and members and those fans that follow us, which I have a little bit of a privilege of being able to give away things that could be very beneficial for people that want to travel to Vegas, meaning places to stay for, you know, I've done it for other members and subscribers that have come into town, and I've been able to help out. And I'm in the works of trying to figure out how best I can do that. And it's something that Jen and I want to announce at some point, but we'll be giving away some accommodations and various things for people that want to come into town. So there you go. If you want to come out to CrimeCon, you always have a place to stay. You can bring your family. You always have a place to stay. I will always.
It's funny because my wife and I talked about doing that this year. I didn't know exactly what month they were doing it again. But we talked about it because it was in Vegas, and I was hoping if I did it to be able to meet up with you specifically. So that in itself, that'd be awesome. Actually, I appreciate that.
So I was able to finagle because I've gotten to know some of the people that will be directly involved where it's being held.
Yeah.
I have a rather large booth area for myself that I'm extending the offer to certain people like yourself. They can come share my booth so you don't have to pay man, it's a lot of money here in Vegas.
It is, guys. Yes. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
And that way we can all mingle, we can shake hands, and those that want to come support us and get to meet us, we'll all kind of be in a very local area to where they can do that. Real quick to answer this question. So
that would be amazing.
Dago, you and I have talked about this in regards to Brian.
Thank you, Melissa.
Because it's been a long time since I've had communication either way, and I'm not going to step up to the plate and lie and try to get people to believe like I'm friends with Brian and I talk to him all the time. No, I've had no communication for a very long time with Brian. I did send him some postcards, and I believe you and I spoke about this, Dago, when there was the situation when he first landed in the penitentiary where some of the documents were filled out in regards to complaints. And I did send him some words of advice, whether he listened to it or not, whether he threw it away, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just wanted to kind of, you know, give him a little bit of the lay of the land and some thoughts. And I did apply to be able to visit, and I did apply for a special visitation because I'm an ex-felon. But I can very much showcase the right path in life that I've been on and the hard work that I put into improving my life and what I want to do with my life. So could they potentially? Maybe, but he would have to approve it up and beyond that because he didn't request for me to visit him. I just put in an application on my own. So
That's
he
where it
can
works.
deny it all the way across the board and say, the hell with that kid. I don't care.
Sure. Thank you so much,
whatever.
Aquarian, for the super chat. God bless. Very generous. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I understand that too. And it's harder, guys. You got to understand, and God bless, bro, with the things you're trying to do, having that wall that you got to step over or get through, being the ex-con situation, that's always, they're putting a wall in front of you in the first place. And he's working his way around it, you guys. And that says, to me, that shows dedication. And I appreciate and respect that very much for the things you're trying to do and have done. It means a lot. So, absolutely.
And thank you, Aquarian. One thing I do need to make it very clear with a lot of people so they have a little better understanding, because sometimes I'm roadblocked in some of the things that I want to do based upon other people's actions. So let me use Koberger just as an example. Because of my history, and any ruler, definitely reach out to me. I'm sorry to cut into what I had to say, but reach out to me and let me know if I can help you in any way. When somebody does something that's not on the up and up by prison politics, someone like myself with my background have to be very cautious in the way that I proceed to either help said person or engage said person, because a lot of that could reflect back upon myself. So I have to be very, very careful with that. And I, it's just,
absolutely,
it's a careful thing, because I have a wife to care about, and they're dangerous nowadays, ladies and gentlemen.
That's facts.
Can I or will I ever divulge what the Chapmans told you in your talks with them?
Thank you, Dorothy.
That's a fair question, and it's a difficult one, because I think everybody understands that you have to be very careful in speaking about a victim's family, especially one that lost a child. I mean, do I agree? And we had very brief conversation, because they brought up some of the statements I made, because I was one of the ones that raised issues with the book and the various things that happened. And they knew I had raised issue with that. And they also knew, and they spoke very decisively about the way that I engaged Steve G. And I think that they wanted me to get through my thick skull how painful what they were going through was. So they had a few choice things to say. I'm not going to get down to the very nitty gritty of what they had to say, but it was an attempt at a teaching moment for them to me as a learning moment. And I think it changed me a little bit, Dago, in the way that I presented things, the way I talked about things. I think you noticed that too.
I did, yes.
I changed.
And I understand. I get it, and it's always a difficult. It's always a difficult place to step into in regards to families of victims of the crimes that we cover, because we do have our own thoughts on things. We don't always. I know AR and I both we have private conversations on a regular basis about things that we don't talk about on our live streams, and we do have feelings about things that we're not going to say, and we know the pain that they go through, and I say it all the time when I have any discussions in regards to the Chapins, the Kernodles, the Goncalves families. But as I state, though, when I say these things, we do have questions because of things that have happened. But we try to show as much respect as we possibly can as creators, Not all creators are like that. I promise you. I've seen people that just don't care. And I take that into effect when I think what I think, but at the same time, or when I speak about what I think, I'm sorry. But at the same time, you know, they do deserve the respect of the fact that they lost somebody. And it's it's a horrible thing. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care if the families were directly involved in the situation. They still lost somebody. Remember that. And I'm not saying they were, folks. Don't take that wrong. I'm trying to point to you the fact is that, you know, we've all been accused of this at some point in time as victim bashing or whatever you want to call it, because we have brought up certain questions in that. And I want to clarify something. I speak for myself, but I know when I say this, I'm speaking for AR as well. He can speak for himself as well. But we have nothing but absolute respect for the fact of their loss, folks. We truly do. We're not attacking them when we talk about things that involves them. We're not attacking what happened to them. We're not attacking the victims by any means whatsoever. We just simply have questions that we ask so that we can understand how these things happen. And it's not meant in a disrespectful way by no means, but it can be taken that way. And I get that. And I want to explain that because most recently, especially because I pointed out some things that with the Goncalves family specifically that have been issues. Okay. AR's talked about them. I've talked about them. Jules talks about them. Many other creators talk about these things. And you feel bad when you're doing it in a sense, because you know it almost feels dirty in a way. Okay. But these questions need to be asked. They truly do need to be asked. And in some senses, I believe they should be answered. So that's what it's all about when it comes to that, you guys. And I know you guys mostly all understand that. And I know you guys know where we come from with that. But there are people that don't get it. They don't. Oh my God, you cannot say their name. There's been people that have already threatened that they're going to be making sure that they're saving everything that has been stated about the families. And then they're going to have a blast when they talk about, okay, do what you got to do. That's all I'm going to tell you. I by no means am a disrespectful person. I am about the most respectful person that I can think of that I know personally. Okay. I always try to show respect to everybody, but at the same time, guys, these things deserve answers. That's all I'm saying. So,
and I do want to make a, like when it came to Steve himself, is like, I didn't talk to Christy. I didn't talk to Olivia. I didn't talk to the other family members. I talked directly to Steve. And there's nothing that I ever said on my channel through my content creation that I did not say directly to him. I've showed it here before, Diego. You were here when I showed proof that I had interaction with the man back and forth quite a bit. It was back and forth. It wasn't talking detail. Well, yeah, no, it did get into details sometimes. It did get into details of evidence of the case and things of that nature. And I was calling him out. He was calling me out. It was a back and forth. But,
I remember.
At no point, and I could say this on both sides, at no point did he disrespect me. And I don't feel as though any point I disrespected him. We were two men that went directly at each other and said what we had to say. And then at the end of the day, we both wished each other well. We wished each other having a good night or a good weekend. You know, when I got sick and I was going through my health stuff, he reached out very kindly, always wishing me the best, giving me some advice on things that hospitals could do. I didn't expect that of him. Here I am, just a content creator, but he went out of his way to show me that respect. But I never said anything at any point in time I wouldn't say directly to that man's face. And remember, people, that man and I came face to face in Boise, Idaho, and not one negative outburst happened. Him and I were eye to eye, just coming in and out of a door. And he was sitting in the hallway 10 feet away from me, waiting on that court hearing. There was not a negative thing said between either one of us. We were very, very respectful of each other. I learned a big lesson when it came to Kara. I got involved, and this was early in my time as a content creator.
Right.
And I overstepped my boundaries. And I'll always, heart and soul, admit very early on, I overstepped my boundaries and I did it stupid. I got smarter as time went on, but I didn't disrespect her. I just kind of called her out on an issue she was having because I knew it was happening. Dago, you know all about it. I mean, you
Well,
and I
me and
behind the
you, you
scenes,
and
I
I were
talked-
on the we were on the phone that night at one point talking about the situation, if you remember,
Yeah.
with Kara. And in all reality, folks, he was kind of looking out for her. It wasn't that he was going at her; he was kind of trying to look out for her in some sense.
I just wanted her to be okay, man. I wanted
That's it.
her to be okay.
Yes.
You know, and
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes with this stuff, you guys, that a lot of you guys don't know about. You know, we were truly trying to prevent Kara from doing an interview at that point in time in her life. I was in the chat with it as a moderator to watch people. I was supposed to be involved in it on the panel, and I didn't want to do that. You know, and we're talking on the phone about things because, again, everybody was looking out for her. Everybody wanted the best for her after what she was going through or had just gone through and going through at the same time. It was very bad. It was a very bad situation, period. And it's, you know, again, it was all for the good of her. And I'm very glad to see where she's at in life now. I mean, beyond happy to see where she's at now.
She's doing so much better, man.
Yes.
And this is where she's at now is where I saw where she could be. She needed to go through the trouble that she went through to get to here.
Oh yeah.
I was really trying to save. I think you know it. Like I saw what was happening early. I handled it the improper way, but I was trying to do right. And it just happened to get other people that I respect involved.
I knew that. I knew that then.
You know?
I know that now. I mean, what else? You don't know how to approach a situation like that. You don't know how to approach a situation where you're dealing with multiple things going on at the same time, and you got people back here and people over here and people over here, and it's like, how do you handle that at that point? You just have to live and learn and take it the best way you can. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I tried to handle it with her behind the scenes privately, and it didn't work out that way.
It didn't work out. I get it. I do. I get it. You know.
What an amazing crowd.
I think it turned out well in the end, though. You know.
Yeah. No. All that matters is where she's at today. Like, I mean,
that's what I mean.
Nothing else about that matters. I mean, obviously, I've had no interaction with the Maddie's family. I mean, I haven't even seen them, to be honest with you. So I don't know anything about that situation. And then the Chapins they're the Chapins. They do their thing. I guarantee you they'll be out here in Vegas at Crime Con, you know, with the Othram stuff, and they'll be the face and the, you know, of all of that, which is frustrating to me.
That is very frustrating. I agree with you. That's a whole other show, bro.
Yeah.
Whole other show.
It just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. But, you know, the point of this show, I'm just so excited, Dago, to always have you. But to be able to go back to the roots of where this started for me, I don't think a lot of people truly understand. You know, when you reached out to me and said I could join you on panel that day, I was literally out and about with the wife. We stopped. We got a headset. We went to the park where I was just like, I'm doing it for the first time. And it was just, it really just kind of set me into my place. And now it is just always amazing to be able to sit down with you, just have a conversation. Everything you and I have been through on the platform.
Yes.
We've endured some of the same people. We've endured some of the same things. But I just want people to fully understand, like when I say this is real, this is true. This man right here is very special to me. He's more than just a friend. This was the guider of me to even want to do this. I would not be here. Like I wouldn't be where I'm at. So Dago, I got to say you a big thank you for that. Your moderators have always been awesome to me. And it's always fun to watch you from the back seat and watch what you're accomplishing and doing. And, you know,
thank you.
I'm excited for what the future has to work for us. And anything I can ever do, any type of work I could do with you, man, I would jump on board with you.
Absolutely. And there's really no thanks needed. Like I said, I saw you for what I thought you were, and that is what you have become. I saw a good thing that could be. And I felt like you were here for the right reason. I'm sure you had a rough start. We all did at some point. Okay. Um, but you're in the right place, AR, and I respect you and appreciate you for who you are and what you do, and what you're gonna do is most likely what I'm talking about the most is what you're gonna do. And I've always seen it as a good thing. Okay. I look at people for who I think they're gonna be, who they could be, who they want to be, and things like that. So, anybody that comes out here for the right reason, whether it's to promote justice, whether it's to promote positivity, or both, whether it's looking for the truth, which is what we're all here for, in my opinion, on the cases that we cover, is to find truth, to be a voice for the voiceless, and to promote justice for those victims. And it needs to be what we're here for. You take the good with the bad. People call us grifters, they call us this, they call us that. I don't care. You guys know that. Yeah, this is my job, folks. This is what I do. I have an income. It comes from YouTube. We don't make beans, folks. I promise you, we don't. At all. So
what are you talking about? I made $1 million last month, man.
Yeah, right, of course. And I made 100,000 too. I got you. I get it. But yeah, that's what, and it always comes out that way, you guys, but it's not. And where people are going to call us names, people are going to make suggestions about us, this, that. Truly, we don't care. We know why we're here. We know what's in our heart, and we know what we're doing, pushing forward. That's all that matters. And you guys know the truth. That's the most important thing, is you guys know the truth. And we know that if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here either, folks. And we appreciate that so very much. That's right. Matt's right. I live in Hawaii in the off season, folks, and I have a
and I visit you. Exactly. I fly out there and visit you all the time.
100%. 100%. You gotta love it. But anyway, yes, absolutely.
Miss Annie Ruler, I can tell so many great stories about meeting you through Diego. And yeah, you're absolutely right. She's like, you got to connect with Diego. Like, actually call him. He wants to talk to you. Get a hold of him. But it's even more than that, Annie. Like, someone like me never forgets how special and intimate. Annie would come into town. She would leave me little gifts. When I needed a little help with something, she always would leave me and my wife something to pick up, including dog toys, stuff for the dog, stuff for me. But she would offer me tickets to games, and this is a woman that would be traveling and taking time out of her own time to try to help me and do things for me.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. I will never, ever forget that. I don't ever overlook anything that anybody in this community has ever done for me, because it's because of all of you that I'm even here, that I'm even able to do this. And like Dago, this is going to have to become what I do more permanently. My health situation. I mean, Jen and I have had some very serious talks. I'm not going to be able to go back to work, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I'm not going to be able to go back to work. Luckily, we've found help. We've found, insurance. Things are helping me through some of these huge bills. But if it wasn't for this community, the people that donated to my GoFundMe, the people that helped me through the super chats, the people that helped me every single way that they could potentially help me, even just a pat on the back,
right,
and just a comment of love and help, man, I the mental battle that this has been, I don't think even Jen would have made it through this. So
that's what's amazing about this community, because we do share a community, as we do with many other creators. These people are the best people. They absolutely are the best people. Thank you so much for that, Matt. I appreciate you, brother. God bless. So very generous of you. These people are the best people, AR, and I would have it no other way. They truly are. The community that we share with, like, a few other creators out here, I believe, is the absolute and the absolute, I'm telling you, best on YouTube, period. There's no two ways about it.
I agree. I mean, I agree. I mean, sometimes I even get emotional about it. Like, I've teared up on lives when I talked about this community and what they've done. And it's more so, I mean, I think you would agree. They've done a lot for me, man. They've done a lot for me. They've done a lot for you.
Yes.
They have loved and supported my wife beyond belief. Like, the help that has been provided and the support for my wife is just unreal.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's just, I'm not really an emotional person. Like, for me to tear up, that's a lot, man. This isn't something I like to show.
It happened to me more than once
don't
on
like to
live.
show.
It's happened more than once live for me, bro. It happens a lot with these people. It truly does.
And I meant to say too, typically unique. If you have an email or if you have a way to email me, I would like to do a live with you. If we could set that up, if you'd like to have it with you, me, Dago, and your husband, or however you want to do it, I would love to engage.
I'd love it too. She's doing a great job. She's doing an amazing job. And again, guys, please put Typically's link out again, mods, if you can, please. She's doing an amazing job out there. I really want to see everybody subscribing to her and helping her to grow, because she's doing it. Like I said, there's so many great people out there that are coming out of the woodwork left and right, that are here for the right reasons, that are doing it for the right reasons. And I want to help them as much as I possibly can in that aspect. So please, yeah, I'd love to do the same thing. Typically 100%, all of us. I think it'd be awesome if we all could get together, either way. So yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, I'll typically, if you want to do it on your channel, I'll come hang out on your channel, and I'll get pushing to get as many people to come over to your channel. And I'm sure Dago's the same way.
Oh, absolutely.
It just, I got lucky, Dago. I was listening to you the other night about how long it takes to build a channel, and I get to see people talking about how long it takes to build their channels. So I got lucky. I bumped into you, and Bubbly Waters promoted me very early. And then there was another lady. I haven't seen her in forever, but she promoted me as well. And I literally went from about 400 subs to 5,000 in about a week.
Yeah, you went.
And
you blew up,
it was
bro.
just like, it was amazing to me. And I thought I should just give up then. I was ahead of the game. Like, I'm done. And
you blew up.
now
You
it's
did
just
for good reason. You did for good reason. It was deserved. Well deserved.
Well, I appreciate it. And if I can always help, and I know Unfiltered Lucky has our backs and that too. He's very, very committed to a good community as well. I know there's many of us out there that are that way. And
yes, I'd like to get together with him. I have not been able to really have any kind of discussions or anything with him, but I do respect him a lot. I do watch him often, and I caught on to him from being on your panel, and I'd like to do something with him as well. I think he's a great guy. He's got a good personality. He reminds me of me in that way, the very positive, outlook on things, and he does great shows. So yeah, I would.
I'll tell you what, Lucky and I talk a lot. We're very, very close. We are very, very close. We talk a lot, and
good.
He's teaching me how to be positive.
Yes.
No matter how bad it is, be positive. No matter how bad it is, be positive. I mean, that man, when I went in the hospital and I was having surgery, that man picked up the phone. It's just like Pete with Murder Metal Mayhem. We should give him a shout out too.
Oh yeah.
Very, very same. Just always there. And if we can build our community, Andrew Myers is another great individual.
Yes.
I mean, I know him and I have had a separation. We haven't talked or worked in quite a while, but he's an amazing individual as well. He works extremely hard. Robert with True Crime Unleashed. I'm missing Swamp Rose. I mean, Swamp was amazing.
I was going to ask you if you'd heard from Kiki. I haven't seen her in a while, and I get worried when I don't see her for a while. Kiki's an amazing person, guys. She really is.
I met some amazing, and as much as we can work together within this community.
Yes.
I don't dislike anybody on the platform. I don't care about
Nope.
As long as we're all respectful, you can have a difference of opinion. You can have a different method of delivering your message, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't dislike anybody.
That's right.
I only work with certain individuals, but I don't disrespect anybody.
Absolutely.
But we as a community we can still do better. We can still do better. And we can work together, and that's where we'll make the biggest difference. If we get enough of the real information out, and we get working with the Innocence Project, we get working with better, force on investigations and prosecutions and these very key things that are happening right before all of our eyes, we can make a difference. I mean, I just don't want to be that guy, Dago, that I can't come out here and do 3 videos a day and just tell a story and then do nothing to back it up that's going to make a difference.
I get it. No, it makes a point. And there's a lot of us out here. Everybody you've named, not to mention Docket Decoder, another great one that's been really pushing for the truth. Outcast is trying. He goes out and he does all the audio stuff to try to make sure we're hearing the right things. It's not a bunch of bullshit, this and that, and everything else. Typically, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of us now that are in the right direction together. And we do kind of work together. We bounce off each other, and we support each other. And that's the most important thing in this point, in my opinion, in where we're at. If we can get everybody together on the same page, not to mention Jules and Lana, everybody, folks, there's a lot of us out here that are heading in the right direction. And like what AR just said, with the Innocence Project and so on and so forth, that if we can support this and push this and make something happen in this aspect,
and let me make it very clear,
I'm good at that point.
I don't work for the Innocence Project, so nobody run with that. I work for the Innocence Project, or I have some major deep involvement with them. I would like to help.
Promoting it.
Yeah, as much as I can help, I want to do, even if it's fetching paper clips at the local store. If they needed it, I would help.
Yes, yes.
And
I'm just talking about us supporting it and promoting it, because it is, in my opinion, the answer at this point, possibly. Okay. At least part of the answer. The rest of it's going to have to come from, in my opinion, the Department of Justice stepping in and taking a handle on something at some point in time. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but that's.
Well, I'll tell you what. On top of obviously the Innocence Project, now I've got a little bit of a thought process when it comes to this Alan Greenberg case. I want some answers here. In regards to closed door meetings that change opinions of medical examiners in a case that hits you right in the head that's not possibly a self-harm case. I mean, I want, and if I got to go stand in Philadelphia on some sort of stairwell to get some answers, I think that young lady right there deserves that. But that's the type of difference I want to make. I want to get healthy. I want to go do these things when I was able to drive up to Boise with my wife and be in that courtroom and just take everything in for the first time of me not actually being on trial, but actually be able to take in true crime at it. That really gives you the to make a difference, especially when your wife goes, something ain't right here. Like, this shit ain't right. What are we going to do? Well, I got to do something. And I don't know, it's got to be real. It's got to be real. And I'm not going to change the world, but could I lead somebody else that might have an influence that could?
Right. We have the voices, folks. We are the people. Again, we the people. I've been saying this again. And as it sits now, guys, like I said, it's power versus the people. We the people. Okay, this is our country. This stuff affects us. We've been saying this. This isn't Brian Koberger and Karen Reed and Richard Allen. Okay, this is us. This can happen to any one of us at any given time. We need to stand up for this and make a difference in some way. We're talking about it every day, all day. Yes, that's great, but it only goes so far. Okay, so at some point, something needs to change, and that's why I keep saying it. We're the ones that can do it.
I agree, and I'm sure Dago, you'll agree. At some point, Robert will try to we'll get with you, and we'll try to do a show with you, and
Oh,
do
yeah.
something to get you engaged too. So
Absolutely.
I definitely appreciate you, Dago. I know you're tired, man, and your wife deserves some cuddles from you, and your kids
I'm used
deserve
to
some
it.
time.
Yes, yes. It's getting late, but I'm used to it. I do this every other day, so I appreciate
Yeah.
you, brother.
I don't have your energy, my man.
Listen. I don't have my energy.
Yeah.
This right here is where my energy comes from. But again, and Melissa, I don't know if you saw my statement. I didn't even know that was an issue for you, but I appreciate your statement back there and your support, and I will try to fix that problem. But no, I appreciate you, AR, as always. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I very much enjoyed it. I think there are two
I
topics.
think we should do it more often, man. I think we should do it.
Getting ready to say that we should do this more often. And I'm down to do it once a week, twice a week, whatever you want it down, because whatever you would like to do, because I enjoy this, and I think we get a better reach with people when we do things like this as well. So,
yeah, I definitely think we need to do it. I think that we could dive into so much and not ever hold back and just dive deep in and talk about it all. So
yeah.
I definitely appreciate you because you drive me, man.
I appreciate you, sir. I always enjoy our conversations. You make me think, and I guess you could say the same thing. It drives me forward as well. I appreciate that very much.
Well, everybody in the chat, we definitely love you. You guys are just a blessing to me, and I know Dago feels the same.
Absolutely.
I know, Dago, you're planned. You're back tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah, I'll be back early afternoon or late morning, one way or the other. I will be here.
So I'll be in Dago's chat tomorrow, supporting him. Hopefully, I can work on a little bit of content tomorrow myself. See if I can get something out there, maybe a video at some point.
You'll do it. You'll do it. I have faith. You always do. So I appreciate. I'll be looking forward to it as well.
Everybody stop in and check out Dago tomorrow. I'll be in his chat supporting. And then look forward to the next time you and I can do this again, and we'll break down some more true crime.
Agree. Thank you again to my moderators, AR. Thank you. Thank you to AR's moderators again. Both communities. Nothing but love. You guys know that. We appreciate you all so very much, guys. Please make sure to hit the like button on both sides of the fence here, if you will. Share this out. Let everybody know what we did here tonight. We do appreciate you all so very much, and we will see you all here very soon.
Have a great night, everybody. If I can find the end button.
Take care, everyone. Thank you, Typical.